It is a corporate time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer. Uh-oh.
No.
Whoa, wowie. That's embarrassing. We have a guest on the line. Hopefully you didn't hear that. Samantha, our producer's here.
Hello.
Sorry,
that was quite
Sam.
the intro.
Yeah, that was, like a better radio program would have edited that out or restarted. But
no restarts.
I know restart. That's this year.
Doing it
well,
live.
from this point on, it's the what are we? We're entering the
Keep it all in.
fourth quarter. Is that what, you're the businessman? What quarter are we in now?
Nah, I don't follow any of that.
We don't run by quarters here.
No.
We barely have any quarters to rub together here.
It's day to day.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
It is.
man.
We're paycheck to paycheck, and what we mean, our clients' paychecks come in, and we're like, yes, we got one. Put another. All right, we can do this for a couple more weeks.
Yeah. But we're behind, so the paychecks are just covering the loans that we got a month ago.
Those COVID loans we got.
The PPP.
We went crazy with the PPP.
I can't PPP because we have no TP.
I'm having my wife bring. Well, we don't have any money for toilet paper.
I ran out of that.
Yeah, he
Thanks.
did. I heard him. I heard the.
Yeah, there was the only scraps
There
left.
was a-
God.
There was a minute this morning when Tom was in the bathroom, and it's silent here because I usually run music, but then sometimes I get paranoid. I have to turn it off because I think he's gonna come around the corner with an axe or something, start hacking me up. But so I turn the music off. It's death silent in here, and then I hear the door shut. And you close the door to our bathroom. You need to close it normally. Don't close it super gently because when you pull it super gently and I just hear the lock go, you're like my daughter trying to sneak out of her room.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to hide.
No, I hear it and I'm like, well, he's definitely going in there to take a deuce. and he was in there and then I heard and then I heard the automatic paper towel dispenser dispense 8 times.
No,
Oh my God.
The roughest of Scott paper
No,
towels.
I didn't use
so
that.
this guy is sitting on a hamburger right now.
No, I didn't use that because I thought that would clog the toilet and cause some
Probably
sort of
would. It's
Yeah,
thick.
explosion.
that's
Yeah.
a good idea that you didn't do that.
Let's do some weird job.
All right, Weird Job Wednesday on deck. Find the right button. Daniel, hit the right button, Daniel.
Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dan really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit. It's another
I don't like it anymore.
Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday.
How many of these have we done? My
Oh,
God.
yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday.
This song is way too long.
Another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
We've done a lot. But also, I had someone ask me the other day if we still did Weird Job Wednesday.
Still did it. We never stopped doing it.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Well, it was
The one bit that's lasted.
no, I know.
Yeah.
It was obvious though that they don't listen to the show, so
I love that.
they don't
I
know.
love when they tell me they don't listen.
Yeah, because
there's a
like,
lot of people that don't listen.
So you know what? And this taught me something because I don't listen to any shows either.
Yeah, not
so
even ours.
Instead of asking if someone still does this bit, because then you are automatically admitted that you don't listen, right?
Right.
Just say, hey, I got a good Weird Job Wednesday for you. And if we don't do it anymore, then it's a 50-50 chance that...
We'll tell you, we don't do that anymore.
Yeah,
You're an
yeah.
idiot. You don't listen.
yeah, but by asking if we still do it, that there's no way out of you admitting you don't
like,
listen.
if you come over and you're like, is Daniel still on the show? Like, we know what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you ask that question, then we know what's
A lot
happening.
of people do believe Butler still works for this company.
Yeah,
It doesn't-
including all of our clients, because
Yeah.
they email me constantly. They're like, Butler hasn't been by here in months. I'm like,
We'll get on him.
Yeah.
We'd be like, what?
Yeah, sometimes I have fun. I write him back, and I'm like, well, I am going to talk to him when he shows up, because we haven't seen him for months either.
Right.
And then I just leave it like missing person.
Roy's on the line. How you doing, Roy?
I'm good, guys. You still doing Weird Job Wednesday?
Yeah. Yeah.
I emailed Butler and I never heard back.
Yeah,
so
Roy with the
wondering
double
what
punch.
I'm doing here. But,
Roy with the double gut punch. I
So,
like it.
full transparency, Roy is actually one of our clients.
And he's fully transparent. You can see his organs inside
Oh,
his
wow.
body.
And Roy came to us a while ago and said, hey, I have this deal. I have these cool custom chairs that you can basically print on. They're like that Polywood style Adirondack.
Composite, Polywood.
And then we got a couple for our Airbnb. They're in our backyard. They look great.
Yeah,
and
they're
then
awesome.
We actually are going to give away the other one that we got with our Tom and Dan branding on it. Then it got me thinking. I was like, this is an odd business. Like, it's just unique. And then
Selling like Polywood Adirondack Forever chairs is an odd. It is.
Yeah,
That
like
is an odd business.
that you custom print on. So, Roy, how did you get into this?
So I've been in the printing business forever, dealing with hotels, shows, conventions. Started seeing Adirondack chairs pop up everywhere. Just sitting out there, just in a bland white, maybe a red every once in a while kind of thing. And it was just like, there is a marketing opportunity there, and these folks are missing out on it. And so that just kind of transformed into this business where we started working with businesses, hotels especially, their brand, their look on there. Then we got into sports marketing, and, you know, we've got, if you go on the site, we've got all the different looks and everything. But it just was one of those things. It's like, it's there, but there's more opportunity. I do printing. Why can't we marry the two? And here we are.
So, Roy, let's go back and talk about the licensing rights for sports teams, because
that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to work with sports teams licensing.
Because I would assume that it'd be incredibly hard to get the ability to print whatever team in like the NFL or NCAA. You know what I'm saying?
College may even be worse.
Yeah.
You know, they lock down some of those brands like crazy.
And then it seems like you have the rights to all of it. Like, you can print any professional sports team on these chairs that you want. And they're good for tailgating and stuff, which is pivotal to your success of, like, especially if you're marketing these chairs for like tailgating and people to bring them to the Orlando City game.
Right.
They want
they
the
want their
logo.
Orlando City chair.
And I would assume it would be impossibly hard to get the rights to do that, but you got them all. How the hell did you do it?
Well, the hardest part was telling my wife we had to have 3 more kids because I had to give up the rights to children to get these licensing rights.
Right.
I mean, it is a nightmare. You're absolutely right. It's commitment on sales. It's proving yourself. It's guarantees, all these good kind of things. But they are what they are. There's no competition. So you just got to say, hey, we're getting in bed with the devil and we're going for it. So
Wow.
And the NFL is the top dog, obviously. So if you can show that and you can make that happen, then the other leagues will start to fall in line. But then you get into college and everybody's a separate entity. So you're dealing with each school and everybody's a little bit different. So it is, it's a labor of love, but I'm a huge sports geek and fan, and I believe in this product. So it's been worth it all the way.
Is that the way you did it? Because you just stole my question, because I was going to say, do you start with like the NFL, and then once you get that, then the other ones will kind of follow?
Like, we have the NFL, and then like
and then of course
Georgia
like,
Bulldogs.
I would
All right.
imagine UGA, like FSU,
Alabama, UM. Like
it's so hard.
It's just insane.
Oh my God!
Like, so
I can't even get UCF to return a phone call. Let's just going to their podcasting studio and saying hi as 2 alumni.
So you bring up a good point, because it's kind of like Apple and Android. It's like Apple, like we work with our app. Like, everything is the same, and then when you work with Android, every single is different.
It can be wide open. Yeah.
So it's like. First of all, how the hell do you even reach out to the NFL and ask for something like this? I would imagine it's impossibly hard to even get in touch with the right person to
or even get a human.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you don't at the beginning. I mean, you go online, you do the paperwork, and to kind of answer your question is you go down both roads at the same time. So you do everything for the NFL, And while you're dealing with individual colleges and other leagues, you're talking to them and showing them that, hey, we're working with the NFL. We've made it to step 3 of 7. Here's where we are. And that brings credence and precedence right there. And then in the other side, you're pushing the NFL to keep going. And you're sending samples. To your point, if you ever do get a person, they become your new best friend. And so we got a person in marketing. I don't know what level they were on, but that person has a whole bunch of chairs now. And so it's just, that's how you move forward. So you bounce the two off of each other until you cross the finish line.
So Jimmy, a marketing intern at the NFL, has 500 chairs, and then he linked you up with that's crazy that it is like you were having to grease the wheels with some chairs to get your way in. Is that accurate?
It is, and I've never dealt with the mafia, but I'm assuming we're talking the same story, working your way up. So,
yeah, I mean, it's no different in business when you got to find the right people to get to the right people, so that makes sense.
So,
correct.
And then you mentioned something, too, that seems crazy complicated, that each college is its own entity, and you have to deal with every single one of them individually. So where do you even start with that? Because you can't even, I imagine,
Just fire off an email to the dean of admissions.
Well, as a business, you can't just say we offer, UM and Alabama. That's it. We're working on the rest.
Some places do that, and it's very disappointing. No, it is.
Or
when you go there to
UF.
get a Tervis tumbler and you want UCF, and they're like, oh, sorry, we only have UF and FSU because they're the top big dogs. You know, they're playing the percentages.
Yeah, but I imagine that you want to at least have a good amount.
You want them all, yeah.
Or the major ones up on the site all at once instead of leaking one at a time, because the customer's going to be like, well, I wanted a FSU chair, and they're mad that you only have a UF one.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
So that's once again another two-path approach. So you go after the athletic department. They own the logos, the rights, so you're dealing with them. The other side that we have found is we deal with the alumni association, because they usually are, they're always fundraising. So we try to partner with them and put together programs that sending out they've got all the contacts too. So they become the marketing arm for us.
Oh, that is brilliant.
And then they reach out to their wide base of alumni. And we've had universities who have said, if you donate X amount of dollars, you get a quote-unquote free chair. We've had others that offer it as a fundraising plateau, and if you get this chair for X amount of dollars, we here at the alumni get 75% of it, or whatever the case may be. So once again, we're kind of going down two roads to get to the same place, and what we found is in colleges, most of these people will finally intersect, and they'll be like, hey, I'm working with, or I've heard from these guys, let's make this happen. Let's sign off on the rights, because then no matter how we sell it, they're getting a portion of it, obviously, hence licensing fee,
right? And
everybody's winning at that point.
So, by the way, I realized I didn't even plug the site. It's mycustomchairs.com.
Yeah.
And you can get Tom and Dan chairs. They have the right to
who worked
use
that
our
deal?
logo.
I must not have been present for that meeting, 'cause I didn't sign off on anything.
Yeah, talk about a group to work with there to get licensed.
It's tough.
It's
tough.
I'm harder to work with than
people ask me all
Alabama.
People ask me all the time. They're like, hey, can we use the Tom and Dan logo? I'm like, yes, just make sure you use the old one and you stretch it so it's unrecognizable.
Right.
Because a lot of people do that. We'll have bars and restaurants that'll start working with us, and they'll just assume they could use our logos. They'll take it. They had their sister-in-law puts it in Photoshop. They put it in MS Paint. They put it over. They stamp it on Kid Rock's forehead.
Use an old faded PNG.
It's real good.
They're like, how is a digital file faded or a sunbeam?
Where did you even get that?
So now, Roy, I've noticed too, like our merch guy Eric sent me a text the other day with a screenshot.
Please let me out of this warehouse. I am so sick of folding shirts.
And he's like, your chair guy does Ozzy Osbourne chairs, and he sent me.
Dude, they got the Beatles.
Yeah. And
You can get a
Rush,
Beatles chair.
you can get a Rush chair.
Oh, Rush chair.
Kiss, if you're into that.
So you work with a lot of these bands. Is that you just have to reach out to each one individually too?
I want a Rush red Barchetta chair.
I'll get on the phone as soon as we're done here.
Okay.
So, it's the same process. It's talking to management companies. We've got WWE, NASCAR, Motley Crue, the Beatles, Kiss. We've just reached out to all those entities and said, this is who we are. Do you all want to put your name on a chair? And, of course, everybody says, yeah, let's do it. And it's the same process. And, it's a wide variety on there, man. There's something for everybody, and that's the cool thing, too, is if there's something you don't see, we can custom do anything, man. I mean, we'll design it for you, or we'll send you a template. You can grab the Tom and Dan logo. Just kidding. And, but you can,
they can grab it. I don't care. I want it.
Well, you could have used our logo and never even told us. So we'd have been like, cool.
I would have been like, oh my God, they got a Tom and Dan chair, and then I would have bought one. I would have been like, here, take my money.
We would have bought it from you and then tried to resell it to our listeners.
Yeah, I've been buying them from Roy, and I'm reselling them. I'm losing money on shipping because these things are really well made.
So, Roy, I'm curious because here's what I know about.
I can't believe he got WWE, NASCAR, and then there was one other one you named, and I'm like, well, how? Oh, Beatles. I'm just like, between WWE and the Beatles, you're talking about the entities that lock down their intellectual property like none other. You don't get Vince McMahon's. He got that. You got it all.
How did they let you do it, Roy? How did you convince them?
It's insane, man.
It is. And once again, it's showing you've reached all these other people. People don't want to be left out. I want my group part of that. Yeah, let's do it. Let's move forward. So and the response. You gotta come to them with results. We've been able to do that.
We've been doing that, and the companies run from it. We come with results. We're like, look what we did for you. And they're like, I'm sorry. End the partnership.
This is too good, or I don't know. I don't even know what it is.
The worst thing you could have said, Roy. Now you've really pissed off Tom.
So, Roy, okay, here's what I know about big business, and you're dealing with the biggest, is that they don't keep track of anything, it seems. It's hard to...
Well, neither do we.
No one does.
Well, we learned it from them.
So I'm curious, Roy, like you said, obviously if you print any of these logos on a chair, you have to give them a cut. That's part of the agreement. I know it is like with the NFL and, I imagine all of them. But how could they even keep track?
He goes, how do they... That's the hard drive spinning.
What? Like, I imagine, do they reach out? Like, how many this month? No one does that.
How
right?
many rubber soul chairs did you sell?
It would have to just take your word for it or trust that you pay them each chair you sold. But, I just keep all the money. They never pay attention.
Roy, how often are they reaching out to see how sales are doing?
Never, right? They don't have time.
It's very rarely, but the kick of the licensing is there's a guarantee in there. So we've got a yearly commit we've got to hit. And in the world of big business, magically, we just hit that commit every year.
Yeah.
So everybody goes home happy at that point. Now, there are some entities that are sticklers, and they have the manpower, and they are reaching out, and we're sending reports and things like that. But that's really the partnership, because they know at that level in the guarantee, it's good for everybody across the board.
Has there ever been a college or some sort of entity that you wanted? Let's say you wanted the children's show Bluey from Nickelodeon.
They're like, no deal.
Yeah, and you reach out and they're like, absolutely not, because they're mean Australians. So,
or any big time college that denied you rights to use their logo, because it seems like you have them all.
Or like maybe you wanted Nirvana and Francis Bean was like, absolutely not. You're not making a chair with my father's face on it.
There have been some colleges that are just like, you get that's beneath us kind of thing. But then I'm like, your logo is on every other product in the world. So come on, man. I mean, it's on toilet paper and you don't want to do this. But, you get that ever so often. But once again, you send them to the site. They see everybody else is there. They're like, all right, let me jump on the bandwagon so I can get my dollar out of this as well.
Yeah, gotcha.
It's a good lesson, and people do this, like producers do it with movies and stuff, where like they get one big name actor and they use that one name to get the rest.
Yeah, you're like Nicolas Cage, put on the Superman suit, put on the Superman suit. This way we can get all the other people.
And it's a good strategy if you're a small business and you're trying to get bigger. It's like you just need one, and then you use that one person as an example. They're like, hey, this person's in on it. Like, Ozzy Osbourne did it. Why don't you do it,
Tom
Rush?
Segura's wearing a Tom and Dan shirt.
So
that's exactly what we said when we called Rush. Come on, Ozzy's done it. Why won't you?
Yeah.
But, there you go.
So
and there's only a couple members left, right? Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson, and then Neil passed. So you only need 2 votes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to be crass. I'm just saying that's that's life.
So what's weird is we had a friend one time that was doing a shirt brand that had what looked like a Seahawks football player jumping up in the air.
My buddy Dan,
and then he was selling these shirts, and it didn't have any Seahawks logos or whatever,
Just
but
the colors.
It had like a color similarities and whatever, and they shut him down fast.
Nike did.
A cease and desist
and
fast.
Then they took the kind of it was like a very low key, almost abstract style of sports, memorabilia, and then Nike shut them down, and then like a couple weeks later they had the same sort of design out.
Yes.
That was like, it wasn't the Seahawks, it was for San Francisco, and it was for Froman. Doesn't play any longer.
Oh, Kaepernick.
Yeah, Colin Kaepernick. And then he was like, oh, my God, that's the same design we had. And Nike's like, no, it's not. And come after us, bro. We're Nike. We'll smash your face.
So,
I mean, these branding guys are crazy that you're talking about. Like, you go to colleges, some will have a 2-page branding guide. Like University of Alabama, it's 25 pages. And it's the greatest legalese. I mean, when I read them, I don't understand them. That's not my world. But it basically just, to what you guys just said, we own everything, and if you mess up, we've got deeper pockets, we're coming to get you.
Yeah.
So that's the game you're playing.
30 pages for Alabama when it's just maroon and houndstooth with a dumb A and some sort of pig. It's all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Well, Roy, it's pretty interesting just about like getting rights to all. Like, I didn't realize.
Sounds stressful though.
I thought that somehow like the NCAA would do some sort of partnership where like they'd enter in some sort of agreement where you could get bulk like logos, but I guess I didn't know you had to go every single college's individual. Like, I thought they
do like a package deal. Like, we'll do the South. We'll give you
the
Florida,
SEC,
SEC,
yeah, like
Big Ten.
It's crazy. Like, it seems like just keeping track of all the partnerships is a full-time job for multiple people.
You have a lady do that, right?
We have a person who is in charge of compliance. Absolutely.
It's
a lady.
Yeah, 100% a lady. Man can't do that. Too stupid.
Yeah.
Too stupid organized things.
Unorganized.
We can make the call and be like, you're going to love our logos and these chairs are top notch. But when it comes to organizing things, you got to get a lady in there.
It would be like on my desk would be a pile.
Where did I put my organ ducks? Oh God, I lost it.
With every team.
Yeah.
It'd be all organized.
Where's Gonzaga? I lost Gonzaga.
Every file, I'd go look in Gonzaga and there's nothing in there.
We got to make a chair. We got to make a Zags chair.
So we'll end with this, Roy.
Do you love us?
How many chairs have you sold so far in your business? MyCustomChairs.com.
So we are over right now about 35,000.
Wow.
That's a lot of chairs.
We've done, and my focus here in the state is obviously the sports, but also to work with businesses. So if you're a small business out there, a brewery, a restaurant, if you're part of a hotel chain and you want to just have a unique look, for your customers. And like we did on your guys' chairs, we put QR codes.
Yeah.
So when somebody's just sitting there chilling and relaxing, they can scan the information you want to direct them to. So now not only is this piece of furniture there for their relaxation, it's also there for you to help market and move your business forward. So that's what I do, and that's how we continue to grow. It's just working with some really cool partners along with all our sports and entertainment entities.
Awesome. Well, Roy, thanks for talking to us today. You make a really good product. The chairs are great, by the way. They look like they'll last forever.
Oh, yeah.
I've had that polywood style.
It's amazing.
I mean, it'll never degrade. Easy to wash.
I told my mom when she bought her deck out of that, this will outlast you, and I was right.
You do a good job, Roy. I appreciate you working with us.
You're our boy, Roy.
Well, thanks, fellas, and I appreciate the partnership, and we look forward to a bunch of your listeners, and group is just coming on, and let us know how we can help. It'll be great for new stories and adventures down the road.
Awesome. Well, we'll talk to you soon,
we did
Roy.
the double awesome. That's a very good.
Two double awesomes. It's
Damn
very
Yeah, the double awesome is the very good. I've done the math. So, very good, and we'll see you later, okay, man?
Again, it's mycustomchairs.com.
All right, be good. Get out of here before it gets worse. We're undoing everything.
God,
That's the
how
thing
complicated is that?
That's the thing about our interviews is we got to get the person in and get them out without us unraveling the relationship, which is hard sometimes.
I can't imagine even keeping track of all that and having to deal with it. It's insane.
This is gonna we'll just speak real about this kind of stuff. That kind of stuff is the stuff that gives me anxiety. I got goosebumps talking about all the moving parts. When you're talking about hundreds of institutions that you would have to keep track of and organize.
Each one's different.
No,
each one's a
thank you.
different contract.
nightmare.
Some
thank you.
won't report.
Don't get the color wrong. God forbid. I remember one time we were doing something. I think it was the scarves that we did. John Rollins, who worked with Orlando City, he's an awesome dude. He was ordering some scarves for us, and they got the purple wrong. And it needed to be a specific purple. They take their logos, their branding, the style, the height of each letter, it being warped or transformed or made to look weird. You can't do that. Sometimes you can't have one logo that's distanced from the actual script. Nope, I'm sorry. The duck logo and the script goes together. It's never seen away from each other. It's kind of like Mickey Mouse. You never see Mickey Mouse from a front view where you can see only one ear, from a side view where you see one ear. You always see two ears on Mickey Mouse, no matter what. No matter how he is, it's two ears every single time.
Yeah, these
no
are
exception.
Multi-million or billion-dollar corporations that their branding agency, they want it done exactly the way they want it done. And if you manipulate it at all, they'll end the partnership or whatever.
But I do like these chairs. The one thing I like about them, they're a little bit more narrow than your average Adirondack.
They're
like a little bit
more portable.
Yeah,
they fold.
Yeah, they fold.
You can tuck them into little nooks and crannies. Yeah, they're badass.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time. Welcome back to a Corporate Time. Let's do some voicemail.
All righty, voicemail and email. You can leave us either. show@tomanddan.com is the email address. If you want to leave us a voicemail message, super easy. You can call this number, 1-844-TOMNDAN. That's also our texting service. I always forget about that. Forget that we have a texting service.
Yeah.
Forget how to opt into it. Do you remember how to do it?
You just text BDM to that number.
1-844-TOMNDAN, but the number.
Yeah, just text BDM, and then when you text that number, then it'll auto-reply. Do you opt in? I think you have to put yes. And then once you opt in, we send you text alerts whenever we have, a new event or a new piece of merch. We're just trying to
on sale for something limited, yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to let you know, we got this beer release at Hourglass coming up, and we'll let everybody know what time to get there for your free gift. The first 100 people will get a free gift when you purchase the beer and things like that.
Yeah.
Pertinent information to the show.
But we do not use it as often as we should, because if we used it as often as we should, you would hate it.
Yeah. So usually we use it probably once every 2 to 3 weeks.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't
not
even
even
think
that
we use
much,
it once
yeah.
a month.
I know.
But
We should.
We really should, but
At least once a month.
we're so like in our own head about it becoming a pain in the ass because like some of these like opt-ins have become a pain in the ass. Like the one I get one every morning that I swear to God is like I'm gonna have to turn you off.
I started getting one.
Yeah, I'm like, well, you didn't used to do that. Now every morning that thing goes off.
And it's something that it doesn't even need to
No.
let me know about.
It's like, hey, good morning, we're still here. I'm like, I know you're there. I know you're there.
Hey, they're not even marketing to me. They're just texting
They're just telling me
me
good morning like they're alive. I know you know the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
I'm about done with you.
What is this?
Let's try this voicemail message. It's been coming up a lot in the voicemails. Some people have been angered at and even you are in this camp, the distaste that you and I have for multiverses across the board.
Yeah.
I think this started with me, my negativity of like, I don't think it's fair to have multiverses and being able to explain everything away. There's no finality. I think you lose creativity when you can just explain everything away. Oh, yeah, of course that happened because it's a different universe. So here is one of our listeners' take on that.
Yo, BDM Neil here. All right, Tom, so explaining, so just so you know, the future of this isn't a spoiler because this is just like what Kevin Feige and what the plans are. So right now, yeah, infinite amount of the multiverses for like, you know, Marvel, DC, you know, whatever. DC, I guess there's 52 if they're doing like the new 52 or whatever the hell. But yeah, if it's Marvel, yeah, right now, infinite. But they were like, man, this is like, when they were even writing the comics, they were like, this is kind of crazy. Like, this is too much. Because like, you could just literally, like Tom said, you could just do another multiverse with a little tiny bit of variation. Whole line of comics.
He's got correct.
It's not like, not much difference. So what they did was what they're doing in the movies is they're building up to the battle world. Like, I forgot, I think it's Secret Wars or whatever.
It's too much.
Yeah, this is my point and why I saved this voicemail message. He can't even, Neil, and I love Neil. He calls all the time. He's one of our best listeners. So, Neil, I love you. But
even he can't remember.
He can't even explain it because you nerds have you've made it too complicated. It used to just be Spider-Man versus villain. Batman versus villain.
Yeah.
Now you're so concerned about telling this larger tale that really, to me, it doesn't even need to be told. I don't even care if they're all connected. This is just me, though. I don't care if they're all connected. When I sit down, though, just give me a good story, right? Just give me me like an hour and 45 minutes of good action and good acting. Well, I don't understand why they're so concerned about making this grand masterpiece of garbage that just, it's too big. It's kind of like, have you ever been to something where you're like, this is just excess. This is too much. We don't need all this. Would have been fine if I just had just a normal, it's like when somebody brings a Lazy Moon pizza to a gathering of like 3 people. I mean, it's great. You could have just brought slices for everybody, right? You didn't need to bring.
Are you talking about the 3 giant Lazy Moons I brought out to the
No, those are
Twitch
great.
meetup?
Well, I mean, we had
to give it to the rest of the bar. Too much food.
It's just like it's too much, right?
I see what they did with the Spider-Man multiverse deal where they wanted a way to tie in all the Spider-Man actors.
But why did they need to do that?
Well, they didn't need to, but they wanted.
But the nerds wanted it, right?
They wanted to tie them all in to get them all on the same screen to get all the Spider-Man actors together.
Because if we don't do that, nothing.
And but once you did that, you opened up the possibility. It's like once you admit magic is possible in whatever world you are, then you've admitted that anything could happen, right? You're not bound by physics or reality.
Any kind of rules.
And there's no rules anymore. So now with the multiverse thing,
it's chaos.
I feel like, well, now what universe are we in? If there's unlimited and infinite other ones.
Yeah, and there's no rules. They can all like interact with each other now. You know, like any universe.
Because
can
Doctor
jump
Strange now can open up the portals to the different ones, and then it's kind of like you've brought it too broad, where now there is no rules. Nothing matters.
And
right?
here's what I hate. Here's what I hate. So at the end of the movie, I'm just making this up in my brain. Like this hasn't happened. So in my new movie, Dan Dennis has produced and directed and written a brand new movie. It's called Iron Man Infinite. It's not even out. It's going to come out, and then, and then at the end of it, Tony Stark, and they brought him back, and he's fighting, and then he dies. He dies at the end. Oh, my God, everybody's crying. He didn't die.
He died in this universe.
No. He was just one of the other Iron Mans from another timeline the whole time. He's just keeping it quiet.
Yeah.
But real Iron Man was alive the whole time. You can't do that. It's so lazy.
It is a little bit of lazy writing. It's the equivalent almost to the dream sequence. Like,
you guys are gonna get the nerds hate.
They deserve.
They're
gonna come for you.
That's
fine. This is a different multiverse.
If you guys look, I know you guys are all wearing jeans.
Well, then what
it's
does it
gonna
matter?
be 98 degrees today. All
Don't
you
talk
nerds,
about Tommy like that.
all you kids listen to this right now.
He likes jeans.
You're gonna get hot, and I hope you get a hot bottom with what I'm saying right now. I hope it makes your pit sweat. It's lazy because there's no finality to anything.
Yes, because you've left it open. If there's an infinite amount of multiverse, there's an infinite amount of characters.
Correct.
And therefore, it doesn't
A
matter.
never-ending amount of Spider-Man.
Yeah, like
1 million Spider-Man.
If a million die, there's there's an infinite more. Like it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter what anything happens because you could just bring in another Spider-Man from another universe.
Now, are they going to have to, in order to pull in people, if they want a movie that's a little more serious, if they want there to be some sort of remember when everybody was all up in arms at the end of the first, who's the purple turd monster with the glove on his hand with all the rings on
Thanos.
it? Thanos. Okay, so Thanos, Thermos was, Thermos the turd monster. He had a glove. He had the rings on it.
Yeah.
And then, look, he killed Tony Stark, and he turned into whisper crickets. He's flying into the sky. Little pieces are flying. Remember all that?
I never saw it.
Remember,
sure.
it's all the snap.
Yeah.
Remember the snap because the purple turd
The
monster,
digital-
Grimace from McDonald's, snapped his turd glove, and then Spider-Man. I feel funny, Iron Man. It's because you're stupid. So when that happened, everyone's crying. But that was again, no one died because there's infinite universes, right?
Yeah.
So the weight of those movies when these nerds were sad and crying and oh my God, they're dead.
It matters less.
It matters less, right? So
Right.
all you're doing is destroying what you created that was awesome to begin with, right?
That's
what I think.
I watched a horrible movie. You want to hear about
Yes,
it?
I do.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
It's
God, I hope it's one of my
because
favorite
all I
movies.
watch is baseball. So if you
No.
guys want to at me, come at me because I'm accepting the baseball.
I guess I shouldn't say horrible because it's in.
All right,
it's
spit
fine.
it out. What was it?
It's M. Night Shyamalan.
Old.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Yeah. Okay.
It was so
There's
terrible.
a movie called Old.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, that's on brand.
And
is it
I thought I
me?
told you not to watch this.
Is it
hunk
me
of
just
crap.
watching
You did.
baseball all afternoon?
You did, but I heard from.
So you don't listen to me? Okay, cool.
Well, I heard that it was like bad, but it was sometimes I like bad horror movies that
It's a
are
horror
different. I would put it into horror
Mystery.
movie context.
Is it like Lady in the Water?
Mystery sci-fi-esque.
It is
Paul Giamatti?
similar in the fact that it's unique, but also I feel like M. Night Shyamalan did one good movie, and then he's made a dozen.
A lot of
stinkers.
What's
Stinkers.
his first name?
I'm gonna find
Michael?
Because I'm not calling
I
him
don't think
M.
so.
Night anymore. I'm calling everybody by their God-given name.
Manoj.
Manoj. Then that's who you
Manoj
are.
Night
And
Shyamalan.
Night's not it either. It's Manoj Niliyatu Shyamalan.
Oh.
He's
So
Indian.
his name is Manoj Shyamalan, and that's what he should be called, not M. Night Shyamalan. You know what? I don't call old what's-his-name that hung Vanilla Ice over Suge Knight. I
He's
wount
from-
call him that either.
he's
I call
from-
him Fat Jerry.
He was born in Puducherry, India.
No,
Voodoo Cherry.
Well,
I got a lot to say about that can't be said here.
Yeah.
the movie Old
It
is
is terrible.
It is terrible.
yeah. And
Who's in it?
no one.
I'll
that
ask
we
my
know.
normal questions. Is there grotesque violence and or nudity?
There's no nudity, but there is disturbing imagery.
There's a sex scene that is
Yeah.
quite. That's the most
Yeah.
disturbing part of the entire
course,
movie.
My wife said the same thing. She's like,
Yeah.
"This is
Too far.
weird and too far." That
Well, now
babies
now I
had
gotta
a
watch-
baby, and
Baby
then
had
it
a
severed-
baby.
Yeah.
A Benjamin Button scenario?
Yeah. And then it's I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but it's,
What happened to just a good old murderer with a cleaver?
I'll give you the synopsis
Okay.
of these people go to
I don't
this,
want to see a baby having baby.
this island, and then they take them to the secluded part of the island, and in this part of the island, everybody ages rapidly, right? And I'm
Oh,
like,
is that a good thing or bad? I don't want to go to that part of the island.
well, they don't know that. They get stuck there, and it's part of a grander scheme.
Like
but,
the show Lost?
It's they age at the rate of like 1 year an hour or something like that.
Yeah,
Is
it
that-
was
or
1
1 year
year an
every half an
hour.
hour or something like
1
that.
year every half an hour.
Maybe it's 1 year an hour.
I don't
Oh
remember
my
the
God.
exact
So by the
ratio.
So if you feel like
I don't
you
know
have to
how they
pee-
figured it out. By the way,
If you have to pee, you better run to the bathroom because in like 4 hours your prostate's done.
and it is stupid. like now it's M. Night Shyamalan does a good job of creating movies that you haven't really seen. Like the premises are.
Well, I could create a lot of movies you haven't seen before, but that doesn't mean they're going to be good.
Right.
You're just going to sit there and be like, haven't seen this before, and
But-
it is garbage.
But it's almost like he screwed himself by the premise is so weird that it's almost impossible to make a good movie from this bizarre premise. You know what I'm saying?
Isn't
Like
he just keep trying to out-bizarre himself?
yes,
every
he's
movie,
out-bizarring himself.
Yeah, like there was some truth in what I said. How about you just go backwards and start with just a mask, a meat cleaver, and a butcher apron, and a guy that's a little brain dead, right? Start with the simpleton slasher, and then work your way back to crazy.
Well, I think he likes to do a little more, maybe intellectual horror movie or something like like something
Yeah.
like
But
a
it can
movie that
work
makes you think.
I think
that's
it can work
scary.
against you though if you've done too much of it, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. And you because you're trying to out bizarre yourself, you get to a point where the premise is so bizarre, nearly impossible to even make a good movie from this bizarre premise. So, like, I don't know where he'd go from the premise. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he came up with this bizarre premise, and they're like, "Oh, we've never seen that before. Let's go with this." And then they wrote around the premise and got to a point where they're like, we made it work. We fitted it in there.
Yeah, shoehorned it.
We shoehorned it in there, but
He's probably like, damn it, if I were Marvel, I could have multiple universes. It would be so much easier if I had a universe.
But what we got at the end, not good. Like, they made it work. It just wasn't good. And
Yeah.
I feel like he's done that with Lady in the Water and like some other ones that he did. Really, Sixth Sense was about like the only one that did work really well.
I like The
Maybe
Village.
Sign
I liked
was-
The Village,
I
too.
thought The Village was great.
At the time,
In
yeah.
fact, I like The Village more than Sixth Sense because I'm not a big Haley Joel Osment fan.
I guess The Village probably got him another half dozen movies.
Yeah.
But a half dozen stinkers.
Yeah.
Because,
Every time he comes out with a movie, people are like, it's no Sixth Sense. I'm like, they've been saying that for 25 years.
I know, yeah.
It'll never be
Remember,
Sixth
This is how
the
stupid
late
people, this is how
90s.
everybody's so stupid right now.
25 years
Everybody's
ago.
been saying like, oh my God, 30 years. They're like, it's no Sixth Sense. And then everybody now is saying like, are you watching The Trial? Johnny Depp, man, I
Oh,
loved him.
God.
Man. And
Is it
everybody,
still going on?
everybody
No,
loves
they had
him.
closing arguments last night.
Everybody loves him.
Johnny Depp?
Yeah, everybody loves
He
him.
just performed this weekend.
Yeah.
They hate Amber Heard, though.
Oh, they hate her.
This was,
For no reason either.
I go back. Well, she seems like she was purposely trying
They both
to.
seem like garbage people
Yes,
to
they
me,
do.
but,
Yeah.
but for whatever
Yeah.
reason, everybody's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I love him," and
They
I'm
love
like,
to hate women.
I
Well-
think they both look like trash.
But
Yes.
she did a cute, like when it first came out, I agree now, like this was probably the best thing he could have done for his career because she painted him as a horrible, abusing
Right.
monster, which it turns out it wasn't. They're just two crazy people fighting each other, and she was as much of a monster as he is, or maybe more, or whatever it is, but he basically came out ahead at the end of this.
Didn't even need the multiverse. He didn't even need an extra Johnny. He on his timeline, he's just fine.
Although your reputation is, in
At
the
the end
garbage
of the
forever.
day, you're a guy in his 60s with multiple earrings and long hair, and you look like Captain Lou Albano's son.
And everybody knows you're crazy now. Bye-bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Let's do some emails.
All right, buddy. If you'd like to send us an email, show@tomandan.com is the easiest way. Samantha.
Okay, so this is referring to if anyone listened to last week's Friday Free Show when we had Cadillac Pat in, who told us about a shoe scam that happened to him.
Man, people felt bad for Pat.
A lot of people came up to me at the hurricane party about it.
yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
They laughed and laughed.
He messaged me and he's like, "Hey, thanks for being on the show. Oh, by the way, I am currently, and I'm dragging it out because I don't want to mess this up, but I have Shoe Guy. He is talking to me.
Well, that's what this email is about.
right.
It says, I was listening to Pat's scam story while driving and had to pull over because I couldn't stop laughing. Give updates on the scammer. I'm willing to donate $50.
Oh,
so
wow.
This guy's going to throw 50 on it.
Then do we give it
So
to
we
the
got a
scammer?
crowdfund?
I feel like we should give it to Pat.
What if I wrote the scammer and said, we were so inspired by how good you were scamming that we have crowdfunded a lot of money to give you, and we want to fly you here to interview you about scamming?
No, he'll never do that.
You don't think he'd do it?
He'll,
Oh, you think
that's
it's the
a
cops?
classic trap.
You think it's the cops?
Well, I don't know. I just feel like
Let's just give him the money.
Yeah, well, that's something. We can give it. How much would that blow his mind? We're like, you did such a good job scamming our friend. Here is $300.
Yeah, here's the exact
So you're
price.
rewarding a guy
Yeah.
for scamming.
Never
your
been
friends.
done.
What if we said, we want to scam this guy too, send us the shoes, we'll send you the money. Maybe he'll send us the shoes, and then we reach
There
out to
are
Pat.
no shoes.
Yeah.
I think there are shoes.
No, he has no shoes whatsoever.
I'm so
Yeah,
stupid.
he himself has no shoes.
I
Yeah,
still
yeah.
believe there are shoes.
He
involved.
he has some sort of sandals on.
Okay, I know what you're saying by that.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm just
take
saying,
it.
it may be a different
I'm taking it
country.
only on surface value.
It may be some sort of
Too
scam
hot.
country.
Country is too hot
Yeah,
for
yeah.
shoes.
But Daniel did contact him,
Yeah.
and Daniel asked him, "Do you have these Jordans?" And of course, he said yes.
Yeah,
And
he said, "I got you, fam."
There's nothing, and there's no way, like, you know, the TikTok videos of the people that pretend, or maybe they do it, like, to get into the scammer's computer, and they start,
I think all of those are fake.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
how? Because they're saying that the scammer's VPing into their computer, but by doing that, he can then somehow have access
And
to
I've
the
seen
other
some
one.
really bad ones where even the actor that's supposedly like, and it's like a camera, and they're like, oh, my computer, I'll get you. And I'm like, that's not real. It's too stereotypical. It's too fake.
I've got this theory that every, like, legitimate viral video on the internet will eventually be faked because, follow me with this. So, like, a viral video comes out of someone messing with a scammer, right?
Okay.
And then that becomes popular. So a bunch of other people see that and are like, well, I could do that. But to do it legitimately is like way harder, and it takes a lot of more time and effort.
Yeah.
And to fake it, a lot easier, right? To instantly get some sort of views or
The
success.
Kardashian effect.
Yeah, no, like it happened with a reality show. I mean, I used
Yeah.
to do it with radio where I sat back and were like, wait a minute, we could fake a lot of these things, the on-air bits, and it's way easier
Yeah.
than to do it for real, and then it gives the same
Well,
effect,
it's easier
right?
to control it. Yeah.
Easier to control it, easier to produce it. Like,
Yeah,
to do it legitimately take a lot more time and effort, right?
Yeah.
So anything that is legitimately funny or good on the internet will eventually just be fake to the point where it's all fake.
And
right?
I feel like
Multiverse of fake.
I feel like a lot of times my initial response is pretty accurate, and it makes me feel better about my own, like, whatever you want to call that. I was going to say biological clock, but I feel like that has more to do with, like, having
Yeah, I don't
babies.
know.
But, like, my own, like, mental
Gauge.
compass. Yeah, the
Yeah.
gauge inside of me. Because there's one video that I'm probably late to the party on this one, but I love this video, and I'm normally not the type of person that would love this. I think your wife would like this one, too. It's a lady, an older lady, it's like a mom, a daughter, and then the daughter's daughter. So it's like 3 generations of people standing, and they're being captured by video by like a Ring doorbell. And then up walks a red-haired,
I saw this
poofy-haired
one.
guy with a headband and big glasses.
Kind of looks like Carrot Top.
Kind of looks like Carrot
Yeah.
Top, and he's just an unfortunate-looking man. And as he walks up, just because he looks so unfortunate, he scares the ever-living crap out of them
Yeah.
because they assume that he's a clown or something. I don't know. And I watched this video.
Yeah, it was
and
pretty good.
It is I'm gonna pull it
Hold
up.
on, let me watch
I'm gonna
it.
pull it up, and I think it's
Yeah, because
great.
their backs are to him, right? So as soon as the lady turns around, she screams bloody murder. It scares the crap out of the guy.
And he's just
He's just standing. I think he was there to like.
Yeah, no, he says, I'm just here to pick. He's like, hi.
Yeah, it's like
you
the
even
sun
hear
or
him?
something, yeah.
they're scared
I-
by his looks.
Presence, yeah.
I have it's so unfortunate.
It is terrible.
It's so unfortunate. It's the perfect thing for our, we've been beating this drum for months about saying that there are people that look unfortunate. This gentleman just looks, quote, unfortunate. And what's best about this, I've analyzed this video so much. There's one part where as he's walking up, you hear him go, "Oh, hello." He says it like he's like, "Oh, hello." And they don't hear him. And then when they finally turn around, they're like, "Ah!" They like, it's literally the scariest thing they've ever seen. All right, click on it and get it ready here for you. Okay, here it is. There he is walking up.
Okay, yeah.
Have you seen this?
No, I've never seen this.
Oh my
God!
God, I
thought I saw every video.
I thought you had too. Okay, I got to make sure I can get it so everybody else can see it here. Okay, hold on here.
Because any video my wife ever shares with me or tries to show me, I'm like, I've seen that.
Okay, here we go. Here's the video. Now just watch. I'll put the volume up so you can hear him.
Like some chemicals.
So you see him walking up back there.
Oh, this is no and you threw flakes in it. Mommy,
put
this
the
is
stuff
no
down and then
car.
you throw this.
Hold your ears.
Sorry. I'm here to pick up something.
Yeah,
He's like, I'm sorry.
He's like, I'm sorry, I'm just here to pick up. And you hear him when he walks up. He's like, oh hi, like
He
that.
does kind of just like glide into the scene.
Yeah, here,
right?
listen for it.
Smell it. Oh, this is no
And you
car.
threw flakes in it.
Mommy,
Put the
this is
stuff
no
down and then
car.
you throw this.
He does look like a clown.
He looks like a clown.
Yeah, yeah,
And-
It's a little scary.
Yeah,
yeah.
and he is an unfortunate man. And,
yeah.
and
Does he got,
he
like-
looks so unfortunate that if my mom turned around and was holding Maggie the dog and he walked up behind her, my mom would scream bloody murder. That's how you get pepper sprayed.
yeah.
When you look like a clown, you start creeping up on people.
He does
Yeah,
sidle up.
make yourself known way ahead of time if you look like that, sir.
Yeah. You're going to be
You
like,
know-
I'm coming up.
Yeah, clown man, walking.
Clown.
Clown here.
Or like stomp your feet, something, sir.
You gotta wiggle your hair, or
Do you scare your wife every time you walk into a room, or like does she easily startle, or is that you, or do you easily startle?
I'm more like your. I'm more like Crystal.
She
Okay.
tried to
If
get
you're
me
asking.
once.
Who, Crystal?
Andrea.
No,
Oh.
Andrea loves a good scare. Maisie's always scaring me. Maisie has a toy horse that's like 1/8 scale. It's for those American Girl dolls, and she'll just set it in random places of the house where it's staring at me. It's terrifying.
Well, I'm just asking, like, how.
Yes, I get startled a lot. Is that what you mean?
Because I startle my wife nearly every day, and to the point where I have to scream announce that
Which
I'm
is
coming
weird
home.
because she's
Yeah.
very observant.
Now, Andrea
I
has to
know.
do that. If I'm on the Peloton and I'm upstairs, Andrea has to come in and be like, I am home. Someone is in the dwelling. You know,
Yeah,
like she
yeah.
has to announce herself, or I'm like going to jump off the bike and think I'm going to fight my way out of my own home.
Because she's like
Paranoid,
You're
yeah.
right. She's observant, but she's also like constantly always preparing herself for
For a
like,
fight.
for like someone attacking her or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
I'm
like
familiar.
Yeah. And then so anytime that I come home or she like
That's the rapist.
I walk up and she's on the computer with like she's like, I constantly scare her. I'm just like, I'm just your husband walking through our house. Like,
How does she
it's
not hear you
Saturday.
stomping?
Yeah, you walk heavy, man.
No, I know. Well, because we have tile, so like
If you and I had to sneak up like Navy
There's no
SEALs
sneaking.
onto a dock and steal the treasure, there's no way I'm going to make you stay in the raft.
Yeah.
If we had a wood floor, I could never sneak up on her like
No.
our Airbnb. Like I stomp crazy.
You
but
stomp like the little Asian kids above the studio.
She-
They're always jumping off their beds.
she's constantly getting startled at all times by me walking into the room, me coming home
What
from
about
work.
the boys? Do they startle her?
Possibly.
Are we sure you're just not scary to her?
No,
Yeah.
no. I mean, like
Does she know who you are?
She is startled by like people walk up all the time. She's startled. I think she lets me know more, or like she's embarrassed to do it with a stranger. Like she doesn't want to make the stranger
she
feel
like
bad.
holds it.
I don't know,
Like
something like
holds it.
that.
and- yeah.
It
That's not good.
So with like the Ring doorbell and all the security cameras and stuff.
I don't think the Ring doorbell does anything, right? Other than just let you see people at your door. Like,
You can talk to him.
but I've never seen like is the Ring doorbell something where they're like, other than just getting the person's face and running it through a database of criminals, is that I guess what I'm trying to articulate is I don't see a lot of people saying, boy, man, since they got this Ring doorbell, they're really getting the bad guys, you know, like.
Well, I don't think. I mean, people get it to see the delivery men that come up to the house or strangers or
That's
whatever.
what it's
like that.
mostly for, right?
Yeah.
It's not really for protection.
No, but police use it a lot. I know to solve murders and stuff. Like now, because like most people have them. Like they use it to see if cars.
Who was the last person
Yeah,
that came
like,
to their house?
You
stuff
know,
like that.
they use the Ring doorbell. Even like they'll use other neighbors' Ring doorbells to see if it captured like a
Even a
car.
car, yeah.
Yeah. Like so, they're using it to solve crime. We're getting to a point where cameras are going to be so cheap that every single. I mean, we're almost there. Like everything will be on camera. There would be a lot of barely any places you can go without being filmed in like a regular suburb or a city or whatever. Like maybe in the middle of nowhere, but like everything's on camera.
How do they handle this, or how will they handle this in the future at like nudist colonies and like resorts? Because cameras are being worked into every piece of electronics.
You'll probably have to just sign a waiver that says that they won't release your image or whatever.
Yeah.
And also, how would you hide it in a nudist colony besides from like having your
people
phone
got them
on
on your
you?
sunglasses. You
Yeah,
you
well,
got them in
that's- yeah.
everything now. I mean, eventually, probably going to be built into your forehead. I don't know.
Or like
Yeah, I don't think you're going to stop that.
There's so many spy cameras and stuff people could buy that no one would even know. Like, I mean, like those glasses that Daniel has, and those are not meant to be spy cameras, but you
They
could
can
barely
be, yeah.
tell. But I'm guessing you could buy camera sunglasses that are hidden.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't be able to tell. Like it would just there'd be like a black dot in the middle, and you'd have to inspect them to find out if they were a camera. I mean, think about how many people use those all the time for perverted reasons. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
it's crazy.
Shoe cams, like just on your tip of your shoe, pointed straight up.
Yeah, I'm sure people do that.
I'm sure people have done that.
Or hide them in, all types of places.
Well, there's a reason that there were movies about that back in the day. What was it, Sliver? Remember that movie back in the day with
I know the name, but I never saw
Michael
it.
Keaton? He was like, he had a house, and the entire house was set up with cameras, and he got a new tenant, and then the fun began.
There's a movie
Terrifying.
about that, about an Airbnb, and I watched it, and I'm like, why did I watch this?
Yeah, why do you do that?
I check for cameras anyway.
Now
Do you have one of those things?
they got
I'm
an
thinking
app.
about buying one.
Crystal has she got an app.
I don't think the app works. I think
How would it work?
Yeah, how would it work?
Can.
It
I think the cleverness of the app is that they trick you into thinking that if you download the app, it'll work, but it's really just $1 for nothing. I'm serious. Like,
Sam,
I think
look
it's a
up
scam.
How the camera detecting app even works, because they have to have some sort of explanation. Like, does it sense? Sense. Like.
It would have to detect a certain level of like energy, right? Bluetooth energy, wireless energy.
Well, maybe it's the fact that since the camera is filming, if you are filming it with a camera, like, you know what I'm saying? Like a camera filming something, does that, besides from the energy that it takes for the camera to operate, is there any way to detect other than that?
I don't think so, no.
Because it would seem like the outlets or anything in the house that has energy would
emit energy.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think that's how those ghost meters and things work, right? Like you
Well,
lay
is
them.
it fake?
Like if you burn, well, no, but I mean, like it detects energy. It doesn't detect a ghost. Like if I put it on the speaker, it's going to go off because there's an exchange of energy coming through this little speaker or this microphone.
There's got to be an explanation to it. That
I always thought the app, though, when you said that, I thought you were joking because I always thought the app was like, for a while, people have said like, oh, I wish I could change the font on my iPhone, which is not something you can do. But there are hundreds of apps, even in the iPhone store, that say you can change the font.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. It's a scam. Like you can buy it for $4 and it'll
do nothing.
It'll do nothing. It'll change the font within their app, sure, but it won't change it on your phone. And I was wondering if she picked up. Did you find anything about that?
Yeah, so it says the Hidden Camera Detector app offers multiple ways to detect hidden spy cameras. No app with the limited hardware capability can guarantee you that your premise has hidden cameras or not. Rather, Hidden Camera Detector apps give you necessary tools and offers detection techniques so that you can scan your nearby area. It says you can get access to some of the cool techniques to detect a spy camera. Take, for example, the infrared camera. In a few places, hidden cameras are infrared camera or night vision camera. Our mobile phone camera can spot IR lights, which are invisible to the human eye, which I saw this on TikTok. You don't need the app to do that, by the way. You just use your camera phone. Meaning if you scan your area without this app, most probably you will not notice the hidden IR camera. But if you scan your area with the help of this app, the app will show IR light as visible white-blue light, which was invisible to the naked eye.
That's only for infrared cameras, though.
Correct.
So for regular,
And then it says, similarly, in many places we see wireless cameras. There are plenty of wireless and Bluetooth cameras available on Amazon and other websites, such as such cameras can be detected with the help of detect wireless camera functionality on this app. Without the app, it will be tedious manual activity that will take too much, but it doesn't say how it works.
Yeah, I don't think it does.
It probably just like if you scan an area, maybe it's like, oh, this area would be good to hide a camera in, so you should check. Is there something like that?
That's what I'm thinking.
It's not like it doesn't detect anything. It just
says for wired cameras, it uses magnetic sensors of your phone to identify nearby magnetic activity.
That sounds like BS.
Yeah, I don't trust
nearby magnetic activity. No,
Most
get
of these,
the hell out of
okay,
here.
like here's one on a spy website, and this
one. They have actually ones.
Yeah, this is a real one.
that are real that people use. But
I'm thinking about buying.
I'm talking about the app that you download.
I don't
on your
think
phone.
the app
Yeah.
works, man. I think it was a scam.
Or it doesn't actually detect it. It just suggests like, oh, a camera could be hidden in this AC duct.
Because see, this one's looking for a frequency range.
Yeah,
it looks between 20 megahertz and 6 gigahertz of frequency range, and then it'll report back, and you like click it, and and then you hold it over things, and it'll find it. Interesting.
Man, imagine after what was the name of the
the first review on this is very good. That's awesome. They said they love it.
A lot of people on Reddit are saying they do not work.
Oh,
Phones do
man.
not have any dedicated hardware
That's
to
what I
detect
thought.
hidden cameras.
They do that a lot with. I remember there was one it was like, oh, download this app and put this over your friend. It's like gives you X-ray vision.
No,
when the iPhone first came out, I'm not saying I believed
yeah.
it, but I was like, no way.
What's the name of that NFL sideline reporter that got filmed naked in her hotel?
Aaron Andrews?
Aaron Andrews. Like, imagine being a female celebrity, even after, like, and I know it's happened before Aaron Andrews, but that was like a big famous case of like some random janitor or whatever at a hotel filming her nude and then putting it on the internet. It's like, you're a celebrity, a female celebrity, and now you have to worry about every other place besides your house, or even maybe your house, and you have like cleaning people or something. Like, you know,
you can't trust anybody.
Nothing.
You've got a bunch of maids and cleaning people that come clean,
cable guy, whatever.
I'll tell you right now.
And they're like, you constantly have to be concerned and paranoid about them hiding cameras and then putting your nude body on the internet.
If
It's
that
like,
had happened to me,
God.
I'd fire everybody. I would have divorced and or broken up with my girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. Yeah, that happens to me. I'm out. You're all gone. I got to start over. I got to start fresh. I can trust nobody.
Yeah,
I don't trust it.
Well, I just like everywhere you go, you're just in the back of your mind thinking that. I guess you just have to give it up to God at a certain point where you're just like,
it's gonna happen.
Or like, I have no control, so what am I gonna do? It's just like I have to live my life. You have to
just be as cautious as you can be. But yeah, you still gotta live your life.
But even like Erin Andrews, she's just in her hotel room minding her business, changing for like, and someone's filming through the people on the other side, reverse. Like at that point, it's like there's nothing you could do to be cognizant enough to stop that from happening.
Well, you
right?
thought you were. You thought you were behind, private doors and.
Yeah. It's not, like even if you checked your hotel room for cameras, like who's thinking they reverse the peephole and filming through the door? Well, now they are. I'm sure a bunch of people check their peephole now to make sure it's the right way.
They have to change the way peepholes were made after that. Right? Like it shouldn't be easy. It shouldn't be easy to like walk up to a peephole, because what he did was, didn't he tape some sort of contraption to it?
I don't even remember.
I believe he taped some sort of recording device to the peephole.
But he had to reverse it first. Like you can't look through.
Yeah, I think he did reverse it.
He reversed the peephole?
Yeah. Because
That's
you can't look through a peephole regular and see anything. Like it has to be reversed. Yeah, that is nuts. And also for the guy, I wonder how he imagined this going. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
what happened to that guy? He went to jail, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they she sued the hell out of the because it was a big corporate hotel, like a DoubleTree or something like that.
It was a Marriott.
Or Marriott, which I feel bad for Marriott because Marriott's like, well, we didn't have. I mean, what could we have done? Like, what safeguards could we have put in place? Like, not have peepholes in the door? Like, that seems like that's a safety measure that you need to have. Anyway,
I've never used a peephole, like with any level of like it does nothing for me. Like it's like I don't even need it there. Just talk
He
through the door.
removed the peephole from her door and went back to his own room where he used a hacksaw to cut off the threads to attach to it.
Yeah, so I knew he
I removed the peephole, altered it. I cut off the threads so it was basically a plug and I could put it back in. Later in the day, he returned and heard the shower. I went back to the room. Unfortunately for both of us, I could hear that the shower was on in her room when I walked by. I waited until the shower was off. Then I pulled out the plug and waited for the opportunity. He spent several minutes pressing his camera phone. He
My God.
spent several minutes pressing his camera phone against the peephole before deciding enough was enough.
Yeah, you know what?
And then he sold the video. Like,
you were
what?
brave for saying enough is enough.
I'm not proud of what I did. I didn't like what I did.
I
think you liked it, buddy.
You
I
liked
think
it at
you
the
liked
time.
it.
You loved it.
Yeah. And it sounds like you're a little proud of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're telling the police this.
Enough is enough.
Yeah, it sounds like you're bragging about how you did it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, crazy. So let's
That is crazy, for sure.
let's take a break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time. Welcome back to a Corporate Time. Let's do some voicemail.
All right, let's start with this guy right here.
What's up, guys? I have a question here, possibly best for Sam or even Joey Manzant, but why do people find it necessary to bring their floppy-necked, red-faced babies to the theme parks, Disney, Universal? Like, this baby is days old, and it's at Disney. Why do these people do that?
They're stupid, and they don't remember they remember what it was like when they were single.
And
or
a lot of
when they
these
were-
families will book these way ahead of time
Yep.
and not plan it out, and then they have this baby, and then they don't want to pay someone to watch the baby, and babies are free at Disney, so they just bring the baby. It's miserable for the baby and everyone involved.
Yeah, I mean, I've only seen a couple people do it right, which is like newborn baby stays at the resort the entire time, just being a baby, and you go enjoy the parks, and then you come back later and then enjoy yourselves at the day.
Yeah.
I've got a theory about this in which me and Crystal made the mistake multiple times years ago until I finally put my foot down and said I'm never going again. But people, they want to bring their kids to Disney World, right? Because they have fond memories of them going as kids, you know what I'm saying? So they're excited about making those memories with
And it's
their
like
kids.
a benchmark
right?
place to go if you're a family. I mean, Disney World is
It's a quintessential
it is. Happiest place on
family
earth,
trip
yeah.
to take. Like everybody looks forward to or has some memory of that family trip to Disney World or theme parks or whatever. So people can't wait to do that with their own kids, right? So, but they do it too early.
Yeah.
And because they can't wait because they want to have this memory or whatever. So they do it when the kids
The kid will never remember.
pre-1
Yeah.
or even pre-5 years
They
old.
can't talk.
They also can't walk that far. It's hot for them.
Some
so
of
Then
them
you got the
can't
double
walk.
stroller.
I mean, Tracy
Yeah.
hit the nail on the head in our Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/TomAndDanLive. I mean, look, I'll go hard on Disney with babies, but the number one place I see babies that have no business being there and it has everything to do with economics is the beach. Why are you guys bringing these 2-day-old babies that
one up
barely
ya.
they got saran wrap skin and you got
Yeah.
them out there on the sand?
Yeah. Movie theater.
Yeah, no
People bring
business.
brand new
Newborn,
babies
newborn.
into the movie theater.
Stupid.
Yeah,
Why?
Well, that's that's
Selfishness.
It is.
Not only selfish.
Unfortunately, you can't have a babysitter. That sucks. Shouldn't have.
But
the kid.
baby at the beach, Tracy's right. I see it all the time, and then the baby's out there, and the baby's so red, it already looks like it has a suntan.
Yeah, they
because
can't open their eyes.
It literally
yeah.
just came out.
See, those examples, though, I think those are selfish. Those are the parents wanting to go to the beach. Those are
Yes.
the parents wanting to
Of
go to the
course.
beach. But I think
We're saying the same thing.
The baby to the theme parks, I think that's not, a lot of it's not selfish because I know when me and Crystal did it, like, I don't even want to be here. And we're doing
But you
it.
think the baby's going to love it.
We think we didn't do it with a baby, but we did it with like Tommy and Max when they were like 2 and 3 or 3 and 4, right?
Yeah.
Where they just fell asleep.
Yeah, you see that all the time, and I'm like, man.
Yeah, and I'm pushing.
And the kids are hot. They don't want to walk around all day. They're crying.
Yeah.
Crying. It's miserable for everyone.
Yeah. And then it's like, when am I pushing a sleeping baby around a theme park?
That costs
and then,
me,
You're like,
hundreds of dollars.
What are we doing this for? Like,
I don't know. I ask myself that every time I go to the park.
I think like if you go to Disney, like around like Macy's age now, like 6 is perfect.
Yes.
Man. You can do everything.
Oh,
you
they're
can
excited.
rip that
They can
place.
ride the rides.
You can eat all the snacks. You can stay up the entire day. You're not going to fall asleep. You don't need a stroller. So between 5 and 6
They're
is
actually
perfect.
excited to meet the characters.
Yeah, they're stoked about
A
it.
baby doesn't know who Winnie the Pooh is.
My whole thing,
No.
don't do
Most adults don't
anything
either.
with your kids unless they ask for it, right?
Yes.
Now, I understand if they don't know about it or whatever, but like if they know about the parks, wait until they like get excited and like, please, take me to the park, and then they'll appreciate it way more than you trying to. But it's a mistake that all new parents make, where you want to do these things.
I did it. You did it.
You got these
yeah.
lists of things that you want to do because you're excited to show your kid this, thing that you saw.
And it's also for the gram. Let's not forget. We got to post on social media that I took my baby to Disney and they met Mickey.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that.
Crystal did it with her, with Tommy with the first haircut. It was apparently that's a thing where
You go to the Disney barbershop. Yeah, we
you
did
get
that.
your first haircut. And so again, it's like, what are you doing it for? It's like, Tommy. I can guarantee you he has no memory of that, and even now, which it was only 4 years ago,
Yeah.
5 years ago,
5 years ago,
and then. I guess we have pictures. Seems like a lot of money for some pictures.
Yeah, just Photoshop it.
Definitely is. Let's try this one right here.
All right, BDM Neil here. I
Oh
don't
no,
know.
Neil. Sorry, we played enough of you, Neil. I
Oh,
try to do
poor
one.
Neil.
I try
Got
to do
shut
one a
down.
week. I try to do one a week.
Hey, Tom and Dan. I heard a voicemail from a BDM the other day who said that he doesn't like the dump 'em out audio. I would just like to say that he is an idiot. That song is, top notch. I sing that song every single day, probably multiple times a day.
Every
My
single
husband,
day.
who does not listen to Tom and Dan, knows every word to that song. So, by God, do not get rid of it.
So he's saying his husband knows the song
And doesn't even listen
and
to the
doesn't
show.
even listen to the show. That happens a lot. Like there are things that I'm playing a lot of Xbox, the show, which is MLB. It's Major League Baseball video game. And there's certain songs in there, and my wife knows all of the songs in the video game, but she's never played it once. That's a thing, right? Do you have one of something your wife does where you know the theme song, or maybe an Avett Brothers song, or something that you know every word for word because it's something she enjoys, and you just have to go along for the ride?
I don't pay attention enough to even
Interesting.
know
That's
what
a
she
good answer.
enjoys or whatever.
That's an honest answer.
And then
I wouldn't have thought. I would have thought maybe there's little something out there.
vice versa, when I try to tell anything to my wife about something that I'm into, she immediately
Bill Simmons podcast.
sport. Yeah, I'll tell her about
the VIG. How's the VIG today?
what I think about the Miami Dolphins this year and their new coach situation, and then she'll start snoring out loud as a sign that
bully you.
Yeah.
Don't care. Yeah.
Or she'll pretend to just fall asleep as I'm talking to her, nod off or whatever, and to give me the sign of, why are you telling me this?
Sam, you gotta have
Don't care.
one. Because you guys exist in your same universe as a loving couple, but you also exist independently in different universes. Does he have a song or something that he does that it's an earworm for you, but you're not involved?
We kind of share earworms, and we make up our own songs that make no sense to anybody else but us. And I think if anyone heard our songs, they'd think we're insane and need to be locked away.
I have a lot of those with my wife as well, songs about I sing as my dog, or I'll sing as Maggie the dog and stuff like a lot of whimsical fun stuff that if Tom heard it, he'd just shake his head and be like, "This is why I shouldn't have gone into business with you," stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got.
Oh yeah,
me
me and Crystal
Or
don't do anything
a
fun.
clip from TikTok, and then I'll just repeat it a lot, and then he starts repeating it, and he's like, "What is that from?" And then I have to show him the video. It's
Well, you guys do stuff fun.
We're insane.
You're the only couple on the TikTok.
Huh?
You and your wife are always on TikTok, right?
We're looking at it separately.
But you're showing each other.
Yeah, look at this one.
Yeah, look at this one.
No,
Look at
she only shows me. And then if I don't laugh,
well, you're looking at mounds. You're not trying to show her that.
You are looking at mounds. Your algorithm's different.
Yeah.
Well, no, like I just don't. She shows me the stuff, and then she judges how mad she's gonna get about how much enjoyment I get out of it or think it's funny. Like if I don't laugh at what she shows me, she gets mad at me.
Like I showed that. Okay, we played that clip of the clown man that walks up to the family and scares them up to death. Which I watched. I may have watched that 35 times, and I laughed every time. Would you be surprised? Playing the role of you in my household was my wife, who was like, I guess it's funny. And she did one of those. I get that all the time.
We're the opposite. We're living opposite lives.
We really are. Like I am the Crystal. I'm the Crow. I'm little Danny Crow because like I'm like, look at this clown boy. They left at the clown man. He's so unfortunate. And my wife's like, that's okay. That's all right.
And
then
you get mad at it.
But then I get, and tell me if Crystal acts like this because I am playing the part of Crystal. I go, in my mind, I go, well, fine. I'm just not going to show you anything else ever again. I'll just live alone.
No, well,
that's how I get.
Crystal yells that I don't know what's funny.
Which I love because you do a comedy show.
I know. She's like, you're not funny. She's like, no one wants to hear you talk.
Oh my God. She said that?
Then I'm like, they do. They
pay for it.
I have I have numbers. But she didn't believe it. She's like, something happened.
I don't know.
It's all a facade because you are annoying to listen to.
Damn.
Yeah. She's like, your opinions are stupid.
I think she's like the chat room agrees.
You're not funny at all.
I think the chat room agrees that this is her attempt at just negging you to knock you down. Maybe she's sick of your fake overconfidence.
But
your bravado.
She's definitely sick of that. That is annoying.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you showed me the video. I was just sitting here minding my business, and then you.
That's true. She should stop showing
how
you
far
that.
do you take it? Do you like look at it and you go like what's stupid? Because I could see
no,
you doing
I don't.
that.
No, I just like.
I could see you instantly going like, "Well, that's a thing. That's still a waste of time. That's 30 seconds I won't get back."
She's like, "Did you see the video I sent you today?" And then I never did because
I never. Oh
my
God, she's sending you videos throughout the day.
Oh, all day.
I do that to Andrea too. I send them on Instagram.
Yeah,
and then I'll be like, "Hey, did you see that? I sent a Westie. He jumps out of the hot air balloon." And Andrea will be like, "I've been in meetings all day. I don't have time for that."
No, I know. I get scared. I'm like, "Oh yeah, hold on, let me see."
But then she can see that you didn't see it.
And then I watch it, and then I give.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
And then she's like, "You don't know what's funny."
No one loves you. No one likes the way you talk.
And then I'm like,
you disgust me.
Sitting here. What? Like, why are you mad? Anyway. Crazy.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said to Andrea. Crazy. All the memes, all the little things.
Yeah.
And she didn't like any of them. But God forbid she send me one. Oh, it's hilarious. She was the first one that sent me and I know this is old, but the bald guy falls down, turned down for what? This is like 9 years ago.
Well, that is funny.
Turned down for what?
It's a classic. The old bald guy smashes his face on the superboat, the speedboat. Turned down for what? That's a classic.
And then she'll send me. She follows a lot of relationship TikTok.
Interesting.
Or just like joke.
Is it like the inspirational quotes or if like if you have to change so many things, you ain't gonna change enough to be with
couples that play pranks on each other?
No, it's more of like a husband.
Find yourself a man that looks at you the way I look at spicy pickles.
Like making fun of his wife about something that she does, or the wife making fun of the husband about like them going to Lowe's 20 times,
making fun of your wife when you go to Lowe's.
And there's like
they do the little. All of them sound like that, and it's starting to. I think that's
you.
No, I think I have a theory about everybody using that voiceover function on social media is going to make the kids of tomorrow they're all going to talk like this.
They start mimicking.
Yeah, they'll start mimicking because that's the only way we communicate. So you'll be talking to some like new kid, or you'll be like ordering food, and you'll be like, "I would like to order a burger from Wendy's." I hate it.
Oh man, Tommy's like I'm losing him to the internet because now his new favorite thing is to.
Well, I thought he was in the Fortnite game.
No, it's too complicated for him. He'd rather watch
then he was like
someone
football.
play. Yeah, well, yeah, I don't. That's coming up in August.
Okay, so we got. But he's still into. He's got a lot of stuff going on.
He's into Messenger, right? And now he messages or like FaceTimes his friends from school, right?
Yeah.
And so he'll just jump on, like he'd now rather do Messenger than even play video games. And all he does is
AOL Instant Messenger.
Oh man, he's gonna get catfished.
like, no, it's only the.
My God, he shows up to a park and it's a big black mama. She's 40 years old.
He is FaceTiming. I say Messenger, but it's FaceTime. You can do FaceTime Messenger, right? So he's doing that
Facebook
with like
video messaging.
His friends from school, and they just sit and
Yeah.
they don't even talk to each other.
They don't talk. They just look at each other and then they run around
You
their
guys
house.
didn't do that?
No.
Sit on the phone?
No, phone calls.
I did, yes.
Phone calls
Yeah.
were purposeful in my house. Either talk or get the F off the line.
But when I was a teen,
Right.
I didn't start calling my friends and sitting on the phone and talking to them until I was a teen. But I don't think Tommy would do it if it was audio only. It's got to be video.
I miss
and that's the difference. So now that like it's happening earlier because it's video involved, I do not believe if it was just a phone call that he'd be as interested.
I'm too old.
Something weird like that.
I'm the oldest, and I even miss lazy phoning, where you would like lay in your bed on the phone, like just breathing to somebody. I didn't do any of that.
You didn't?
No, every form of communication back in my day was purposeful. There was no like lazy. You didn't like.
Well,
you didn't lay on the phone and then like to like your girlfriend or to like a party line or chat with other people. No, it was literally, hey, come to my house. Don't come to my house. Like that's it.
Well, the only phone in the house is in the kitchen that had a cord on it.
No, I had one in my bedroom.
I was just making fun. An old joke.
Was that I didn't know that was an old thing. I had
one phone.
I had a
with
phone
cord.
in my room. I mean, but
Fancy.
like you just talked. I had a TV. I had a VCR TV combo.
Yeah, I had all that.
Damn.
I had a Sega Genesis. Like I didn't want for anything. I mean, I was a good kid, and like I earned a bunch of nice stuff with my parents. But like there was none of that laying in my bed on the cordless for hours. I mean, it just wasn't a thing.
Like primarily it was a girl thing, but I remember I did it as a teen boy in middle school.
Were you talking to other boys or talking to girls?
Other boys? Gay.
I was gonna yell it.
I know.
I was gonna yell
I felt it coming,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, you added it off at the
But
pass.
no, but you just talk to your friends, and then you
about
stood,
nothing,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, and then you stood for a long time, like just on silent. You're laying in bed.
Are you still there?
Yeah.
You hang up. No, you hang up.
No, I didn't do
Sometimes it
any
was
of that.
girls. Later on, it was girls though. But I had fat boy butt cut. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hey, dog.
there was no
There
girls.
goes fat boy butt cut. That sounds like a cartoon show.
Like, girls didn't like me, so I could only
Oh.
talk
I
to
had a butt cut too.
my fat nerd friends
Yeah,
because
Other
they didn't
butt
have any
cut.
girls to
Other-
talk to either.
Other
right?
obese butt cuts.
Yeah, because there was no girls to talk to. Plus, I think I would be embarrassed to talk to girls back then.
Obese butt cut.
I think you're embarrassed to talk to girls now.
Oh yeah.
if you had to go on a date, right? Man, if you got divorced and had
Oh,
to
he'd be
date,
clueless.
oh my God, it would be so great.
Well, I would be dating other 40-year-olds.
Yeah, but even
so-
that would be so awkward and gross. Oh, it'd be so gross.
But it would be awkward.
It would
Yes,
be
it
so,
would.
especially for the lady going on the date. My God, I brought you some flowers and chocolate.
He wouldn't even think to do that.
No. Yeah, I would have to find another robot like me or some.
I don't think there is a woman like you.
Oh yeah. There's
No.
other robots. Yeah.
No, not female robots.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's
yeah.
nobody like you, man. You're one of a kind.
No. There's people that
You're
are
a-
female
you're a
robots
unicorn.
Like me. The problem is I've noticed this with my sons. When some of my sons are like me, they frustrate me a lot. So I don't think I want to be with another person like me that I've been frustrated all the time.
that makes a lot of sense. Maisie frustrates me because she won't shut up. Now I know how you guys feel.
Let me introduce you to a show called Love on the Spectrum, Tom. If you ever get divorced, you might want to go on that show.
Yeah. I saw a preview for that show, and there was a very good-looking lady
Very good.
that had.
Yeah, they're on the spectrum. They're not ghouls.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. Like I thought.
Oh, you was trying to holler?
Well, maybe this lady. She
No,
doesn't
this guy-
understand
this lady
emotion
gets
like me.
it. She likes sandals.
But I wonder if I would grow tired of that and be like, "Come on, shows," because. I make a joke about never having emotion, but like I'm not like on the spectrum, don't have emotion.
You
like,
don't
those
share
people,
it, but you want someone to share it to you.
Yes, like
Yeah.
I enjoy it. Like the people, like I've had friends that have Asperger's or whatever, autistic, that they don't even understand emotion or like they never even feel it at all.
Yeah.
Like, and so I feel it and understand it. I just don't have very much of it.
Yeah, you're not
you're
good at
lower on the spectrum.
You're not good at giving it.
No,
But it's there.
Yeah. So I think I would, if there was someone that had none of it, I think that would annoy me, though. It'd be like, come on. I'm like,
Yeah,
how do you know? How do I know you love me?
Well, in this particular role, then you'd be playing like your wife, right? I mean,
Yeah,
everything
then
has
I totally
varying
got-
degrees. Yeah.
Everybody
Then
has.
you're the robot crow. You're the crowbot.
yeah.
Then you become a crowbot.
I'm crowing the lady with autism that she's not laughing at what I think is funny
and
on
then she's
TikTok.
walking in the room, and you're getting startled for no reason. Let's try this one.
Tom, Dan, Sam, whoever else might be there. BDM Mike.
BDM Kylie.
We're driving around the beautiful streets of Castleberry, going to the old chicken fillets. And what do we see at the gas station but a beautiful Castleberry, what do you call it, golf cart, also known as a four-wheeler, driving around the streets, going to the gas station. Only in Castleberry.
He sent us a picture of it, too.
I saw
thought
that.
that was pretty cool. Is that going to get you into trouble? I mean,
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
You'll get a ticket.
even if you're going, let's say you're going like really, really slow and on the side,
Yeah.
could you, I guess this is the question I'm asking. Is there a chance that if a police officer pulled over, and we know you'd get the police officer, we know that would happen, if you were like, hey, man, I just needed to get gas in this. I'm being super duper safe, not inebriated, whatever, just that he'd let you go and let you get back to your house.
Yeah, there's a chance for sure, but it is against the law and driving an off-road vehicle on the road without any sort of registration.
Well, then they're going to have to start doing something about these golf carts because it's no different.
Well, in a lot of places, like some places are golf cart like friendly,
But they
where
still need to be like
registered.
registered. The golf carts around here are not registered. They are not.
Well, I think you could drive an unregistered golf cart in Baldwin, but
Really?
yes. But as soon as because some communities are golf cart friendly, and which means that like you can ride around a golf cart without it being street registered. But as soon as you go outside of those premises, like the boundary or whatever, you would need like a license, a brake lights, DOT windshield, all the BS.
Yeah. They make you go through.
But
the
you
hoops.
can't even get that with a four-wheeler. Like,
Right.
you could do it with dirt bikes. Like, you can make your dirt bike an enduro or a street legal dirt bike by adding turn signals and a license plate and register it with the
I think
state.
it'd be kind of awesome to have a street legal four-wheeler.
I think you could do it with dune buggy. I mean, you could definitely do it with dune buggies and maybe side-by-sides. You could maybe make them street legal. But it's weird. You can't do a four-wheeler. You can't make a street legal four-wheeler.
There's a guy online that does like a...
Unless I'm wrong.
There's two new obsessions I have. I was talking to somebody else this weekend about it. I was talking to actually Andrea's brother about this. Rhett, I was talking about how I'm obsessed with this. There's this guy online that takes those powered paraglider jetpacks.
Yeah.
And then he turns that into a mini airboat. Like a one-person mini airboat.
He takes the paragliding powered fan
and he
then
mounts
it on a
into
tiny
like
one-person boat.
You know those
That's
little,
cool.
You know those little golf cart vans that are real popular in the 70s, where it's a fiberglass van body on a golf cart.
Yes, yeah.
And you sit inside of it, and just your head pops out of the van. By the way, if you have one of those, I'm in the market for them because they're awesome, and I want to drive one around Baldwin. But it's like that, but it's a miniature airboat. It looks like the bottom of it is like an old John boat that he's cut in half.
Yeah.
Then he
mounts
mounted
it
the
up.
fan, and he has the rudders that fly back and forth. Like the.
Does he sit on the hull, or does he sit up a little bit?
No, he sits up a little bit. But it's everything is miniaturized. Everything is like a little. It's a one person. It's for novelty. It's not. It's just to drive around, and it's awesome because he rides it on a pond, and he's doing 360s and going through the weeds and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I want one of those so bad. Mini airboats where it's at, dude.
Have you ever driven an airboat?
I have not.
They're
I've
fun as hell to drive.
always wanted to drive one. In fact, I think we were, God bless him, your grandfather, I think at one point I was supposed to get out there with you guys on one of him or his friends' airboats.
Fun to drive, but different than anything else you've ever done. So easy to crash and kill yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you're moving air to actually turn.
Yeah.
But it's one of those deals where you have to have throttle to turn.
Right.
Like if you're about to crash and your instinct is to let off the gas, that's the wrong, because then you'll lose the ability to steer, but you'll still be going forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like people crash all the time with wave runners because of this.
Yeah.
You can't turn a wave runner unless there's power, because the jet needs to be shooting
that's
water
what's
out
turning you.
to turn you. So people panic on these type of things, and then they let off the gas, and that's when they, a lot of them kill themselves and stuff like that because you're ramming another, jet ski in the ocean or a dock or
a boat. Even worse, like a big boat or something you hit.
So it's crazy that we let people with zero training drive these.
There's no rhyme or reason.
Crazy.
I mean, we're coming off of a an extended holiday weekend, and sure enough, just like clockwork, I'm in the kitchen cooking. I get the text message. They're looking for some guy in Seminole County out on his boat, fell off. And like, could have set your watch to it. It always makes me so sad that you would think with as much you hear the news talk about being safe, when other boaters are saying be safe, hey, and like law enforcement screaming like, please, be safe on these holidays. We lose people every single time, right?
Yeah. I think it's just numbers, though.
It is just numbers.
The amount of people go out there. Who even wants to go fight the crazy holiday Memorial Day boat?
Andrew asks, are the vans out today? I go, hell no, the vans aren't out today.
It's the worst weekend to go out. Like, I know there's a lot of people partying, but that's why it's the worst. Everybody's drunk, driving crazy, and there's cops.
And the visibility was bad because I guess it was raining in certain areas. And then you got like a million boats, and it's raining.
Yeah.
Great, and they're all racing to get back to the dock.
The fights at the boat ramp. Anyway, bye. I'm curious, like when they put together a writer's room or whatever, like do they fire writers as a project is going, or once you're signed on to a project, you get to ride it out with them? I don't know how it works.
Well, I mean, it should be. There should be in the contract. It should be a hard in and a hard out. But this was so. I don't want to say it was so haphazardly put together, but not anything on them. It was just it was
COVID,
it was COVID, so no one knew what was going on.
The world was rushing.
Exactly.
Everybody was rushing.
So it was like it wasn't what a typical writer's room or Zoom room would be for a typical show. It was very much like everyone's just grasping at straws.
Nice.
And we were happy to get paid, so we didn't care. Well, like this is consistent income during the pandemic when we can't tour. Yeah, we'll do whatever. So.
That's crazy.
So tell us about James Corbin and how you got on the Corbin.
Yeah,
I don't watch it.
James Corbin,
the guy in the car that sings.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I know.
You should have just
learn about your guests, Tom.
Well, I know about you.
That's true. He did. He knew you were on James Corbin.
Yeah.
And the only reason I knew that person's name is because right before the show you mentioned, I wrote it down.
Yeah, James Corbin.
And you spelled it incorrectly.
And I was like, I don't know if this is right, but I'm gonna say it.
It was like super like awesome and surprising that when you just dropped that name, we were like, oh damn, like it wasn't like I wouldn't say it came out of nowhere. Like we knew you were finding success and we knew things were ramping up, and it was just a matter of time. But like I think that seems like a really, really big feature,
first
right?
late night
like
show.
how did that happen?
It was really, really, really good. So what happened was I did the High Plains Comedy Festival, which is one of the best comedy festivals. It's in Denver, and I had really good sets there. Like, not to pat myself on the back.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was killing all weekend. Like, and I was the talk. Like, and a lot of industry was there, like managers and talent reps, and a lot of people were there. And everyone was talking about me. Apparently, I didn't know this, but at the time, everyone was talking about my sets.
Nice.
And I was originally only booked for 4 shows, but I ended up doing 8 because they kept adding me on shows. And then I guess one of the shows, a management was there, and I had a really good set, I guess. And afterwards, it was a really fun weekend. They paid us to be out there. It was this festival's always a fun hang, so a lot of my really good friends were there. So it was just a really, really, really great weekend. So then afterwards, I go back to New York, and I'm living in New York at the time. I'm in New York now. We skipped that part, but we'll double back to it.
Yeah, we'll get it all.
And Avalon is a management company. And they rep like Sam J. They rep like Adam Devine. They rep this white lady who's famous. I can't think of her name.
A lot of those out there.
But they rep a lot of people, right? So they reached out to me. They DM me. My now manager Nick DM me. He's like, "Hey, I loved your sets this weekend. I hate to ask. I'm sure you already have a management, but I have to know, do you have a management?" And at the time, I'm like, "Nope, sure don't."
Yeah.
So I replied back.
It was something you were looking for.
It was something I wouldn't mind. I wasn't actively looking for it, but I was like, if I get one, cool.
Sure.
And I replied back. I'm like, "Oh no, I'm actually not. I'm unrepped. Like, I don't have any representation." And then he's like, "Oh well, we'd love to schedule a Zoom call or whatever." And then like 2 days later, we do a Zoom call. Before we did, I Googled them because I've never heard of them. And I look at the roster. I'm like, holy jeez, you guys are all these people? Okay. and you guys want to represent me? This is weird.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Because they're like legit. I was like Avalon. I'm like, this can't be legit. But I saw all the names. I'm like, okay, this is legit. And we had a good meeting. And he asked me what I wanted out of stand-up. Like, he asked what I was aiming for. And I told him, I've always told people it's stand-up. Like, everything else is extra, like the writing gig and everything. And I'll try to, if I'm on a TV show, great. I'll audition, whatever. But stand-up's always been, like, number one for me. And so I stressed that to him. Like, I love stand-up. And I told him, I'm like, I want to do late night. I want to do a half hour with Comedy Central on Netflix. I want to do an hour. I want to tour. I told him everything I wanted to do, and it was all stand-up. And I'm like, I'll do all the TV stuff if it comes my way, or if I can be genuine with it. But stand-up's always been my number one priority. And that's what I was just telling him that. And he was like, okay. He told me, like, oh, this is how we can help you, blah, 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 blah. So then they would talk to a good game. And I'm like, and I asked a few comics that I know that have heard about them or whatever. And like, oh, no, he's a good dude. He's a good dude. So then I'm like, all right, I'll just sign with you guys. So I signed with them. And we had a meeting like 2 weeks later. And he's like, hey, so what do you have a set that you want to do on late night? Like, do you have an idea for what you want to do for late night? And at the time, I'm at the Cellar a lot. So I had a nice set. I'm like, I have an idea what I want. So I sent him my set that I wanted to do. And he was like, okay, cool. So we sent it to all the late night people. He sent it to Fallon. He sent it to Corden. He sent it to Colbert. He sent it all of them. Yeah. And one of them I won't say who replied back. I'll tell you guys off air. But one of them replied back and was like, this set isn't a good. This set won't be on late night. It's not a good set. I won't say who. I'll tell you all.
Yeah, it's fine.
His set is not good. Isn't that subjective?
Oh, I want to take a guess so bad, but I'll wait.
Yeah, I think I know.
Me too.
I have a guess.
First of all, I'm sure both of you know, but I won't say it. So he said that this isn't.
Why would your management even tell you what they said?
I kind of like it. I kind of like
transparent.
I like Nick. Thank you, Nick.
Shield your feelings.
No, don't say
Akeem, if I was your manager, I wouldn't tell you anything.
That's why you're not my manager, Tom.
I would just tell you all the good stuff.
I want to know the bad stuff.
Where's Daddy's best stand-up? There he is. There's Daddy's best stand-up.
So one of them told me that like he was like, this isn't a late night set. This is not blah 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 blah. And then the other one never got back to us because I think they were on hiatus. And then Corden's people got back to us. It's like they were nothing but good reviews. Like, yo, we love his energy. We love the set. We love these jokes. They wanted to change one joke, which I was fine with. I took one joke out and switched it with another joke. And they're like, can you send us another tape? But just change this. They wanted to make a few edits, which I was fine with.
Yeah.
Because as long as they let me do the opener that I did and the closer that I did, I was fine with like the middle.
Yeah, you're taking some concessions.
Yeah.
You don't want to like piss away a great opportunity just off of one joke.
Yeah.
And
so
they have to know every single thing you're going to say, right?
More or less.
Okay.
The
like
ad-libs,
you can't improv.
You can do ad-libs and stuff, but they have to know the meat of the jokes.
Okay.
Like what you're opening with and what you're closing with. So then I got a few more tapes. I think I sent them 5 tapes in total. And then the last tape that I sent them wasn't even at the Cellar. I did my friend's show in Brooklyn, which is an amazing show. I did his show in Brooklyn, and I was in like 15 minutes. I'm like, I'm just going to open with my late night set that I want to do on late night and then F around at the end and just have fun.
Yeah.
So I had a really fun set that I sent my manager that tape. He sent it to them, and they replied back, okay, this is perfect. We're going to get him a date soon. And then fast forward, and they're like, and we would talk, and my manager's like, hey, well, Akeem's going to be in LA this weekend, which was a lie. I wasn't going to be there, but just to make it. Yeah. And they're like, okay, well, we're going to book. Yeah. So they booked me March 3rd is when I ended up, or whatever I taped, March 14th. I don't remember. And yeah, that was it. They're like, here's the date. So they gave me the date and they put it on, and then that was it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
By the way, that's a trick I feel like people don't use as much, which is like if you want a meeting with someone, by telling them, hey, I'm going to be in town this weekend if you want to.
You make it easy for the person you want to meet with.
But even if you don't plan on being, like, say there's someone you want to meet with, and like.
I do that for comedy clubs all the time. I'll email comedy clubs like, yo, I'm going to be in Chicago. I'm not going to be in Chicago, but if you book me.
Right, I will be.
I'll be in Chicago.
I do it with ex-girlfriends. I show up at the same Olive Garden they're at. You know, and I'm like, oh, look at this.
Fancy seat.
This is weird.
So walk us through.
You still got fake boobs? All right.
The performance, all the stuff. I'm like interested behind the scenes. Like,
it was really, really, really laid back. The thing that people don't realize is like the studio was really small. Like when
it's always smaller than people think.
Like
they do it with this studio. Yeah.
Just like this studio.
Everything is way smaller than it looks on TV.
Like Tom Cruise. Like he's a mini Maverick. It's tiny.
So like. We have to get there early. Well, the comics have to get there like so they shoot all this during the day. I don't know if people know this, but most late night is filmed during the day. No one's filming at night.
Yeah.
Only thing that's filmed at night really is SNL. Like that's it. So like you get there at like 3 p.m. I think was our call time. So it was me. I just went with my manager. It was me and my manager. We got there. The green room's super nice. There's food. There's all this fancy stuff. We got to check in and get sound and makeup or whatever. And they showed us they're like, hey, you're gonna walk out. You're gonna stop here. This is the mic. They asked like, do you want a mic? Do you want a mic stand? I'm like, yes, mic stand, please.
Stool, bottle of water.
Yes, it's
water
all,
on
yeah,
stool.
all the generic. Yeah. So and then that was it for that. And then we waited until everyone else showed up. Venus was on that episode. And
That's pretty awesome.
Zach Brandt, I think, was on that episode. The dude from Scrubs.
Zach Braff.
Zach
Braff. Yeah. He's too old for you.
He is too old. I didn't know who he was.
He's too old for you.
But
Did
you get to meet him?
I met Venus very briefly.
That would freak me out because that's like
she,
meeting tennis Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
She was really, really nice. I didn't meet Zach, but I didn't. Well, I'm sure he was nice too, but I didn't meet him. But I also
didn't
didn't
know
know
off that
who he
Jordan
was.
energy a little bit? Like, did you know
she was kind of intimidating, but she was sweet and she was very like. We talked for like literally 10 seconds.
Did you get a picture?
No, I probably could have, but I didn't want.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm curious about that because.
But man,
like,
I would have. I would have wanted to get a picture with Venus Williams. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
So you're the comedian on a late night show, and this is like like a crazy experience.
True, right?
Yeah.
Venus Williams is there as a guest.
That's nuts.
And like. I can imagine, like, if I was in that scenario, I would want to play cool and not be, like, the fanboy that's like, can I have a picture with you? Like, some other normal person.
I was so in my head about my set because I hadn't performed yet.
Right.
Like, and that by the time I got them, and you performed last, I don't know if people know this or not, but they taped the stand-up segment at the very end. So they do all the stuff with Venus. Yeah, they do everything with Venus and Zach, and then they essentially leave, and then you do the stand-up portion. They can stick around. By the time I got done with my stand-up, they were probably still in the green room, but I'm not gonna like knock on the green room door like, "Hey, you remember me?"
Right.
So it was like I didn't have time to like be in my head about trying to take a picture because I was so nervous about my set. So I didn't even. I mean, I'm sure they would have taken a picture. They both seem very nice, but
that's the opposite of most of the time when those of us listening to this like meet somebody that's a celebrity. Most of the time when we're meeting them, we have nothing on the books.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing going on in my life. You know, if I meet,
you're about to perform.
Yeah, I mean, like I have no job. I'm usually just there to whatever, and they'll go, oh, I see Paris Hilton or somebody, boy, showing my age, and then you're like, oh, I'll get
She's the queen of selfies.
Like I'll get a photo or something.
Yeah.
But like if I had something to do, like if you and I were hosting something, or if I had stand up to do, of course you're not going to be thinking about
right.
that.
How's the studio audience like? Do they?
They're amazing. I will say, James Gordon does such a good job at warming them up for you. Like he does such a good job. They don't show this on air, but like before he brings you out, he really goes above and beyond. He's like, hey guys, we have a special guest here. He really hypes you up because at the time I was doing a little bit of things, but no one knows who I am. But he's like, he has a special guest here, man. He's a regular at the Cellar. He's super funny, blah blah blah. And he just really hypes you up. And he's like, it's so hard for comics to do stand up, especially at 4 p.m. at this time, and so make sure. So he really gets them set up.
Show him some love,
Yeah. He really gets them set up. He's like, make sure you guys are laughing, having fun, blah, blah, blah. He really gets them set up off air, and then they turn the cameras back on, and he's like, hey, making his late night debut, regular at the Comedy Cellar, Akeem Woods or whatever. And then he brings me out, and the audience will go crazy. But he really, really sets the audience up. So you're set up like really well. So the audience couldn't have been any better.
And the audience is filled with. Like, I'm trying to imagine, like, our tourists.
It's mostly tourists, probably.
And probably some crazy locals that go to
Yeah.
these things all the time,
Yeah,
right?
it's
But they're
probably
probably the better audience.
Yeah,
because
but there's probably only, like, maybe 50 people there. It's
it's a small room. Okay.
Yeah.
It's really small.
But they want to, like, react, and they're, like, interested to be there. They waited in line. Like, I imagine it's a good crowd, right?
They were amazing. And then Reggie laughed at one of my jokes, which was cool. And I the next time I do a late night set, I'll be way more comfortable. But I was so uncomfortable. I wish I would have like paused a little bit more, maybe looked over to Reggie and them and did more interaction. Because I was able to, and I should have, but I was just so in my head on like timing, and I didn't want to go over, and I didn't want to mess up anything.
I always forget that Reggie Watts is the musical director there.
Couldn't have been any nicer. He was so nice.
You know what? He's nice online too. I've had interactions with him on Twitter a couple of times, and I saw him open for Conan in Atlanta.
Yeah.
At the Fox Theater, and he was arguably the best part of the entire day.
Yeah.
I mean, he was better than even Conan. I mean, he was just like, that guy's he's a space alien.
Yeah, the whole experience was nice. And then before the show, because my sound check was before Venus and them, and James got there early. I don't know if that was early, but he got there before they showed up. So we sat in the green room and talked for like 25 minutes about just comedy because he's never done stand-up. He's always just been an actor. So we talked about stand-up. We talked about London. I talked about I want to go to London to sleep with London dudes. And we just talked. We had a really, really good conversation.
Yeah.
We couldn't have been nicer.
Get that
So.
sweet, sweet uncircumcised.
He,
Right? That's what they got over there.
I don't know. We'll see when I
that's
go
what
there.
they got over there.
but
Most of the world is like that.
I thought he's known for being a nice guy, right? Or no?
Well, there's like this weird kind of cloud that follows that guy around. That they almost want to frame him as almost like, and I'm not. This has nothing to do with Akeem, by the way. This is just
there's lots of rumors that he's difficult.
kind of like
to work
Eleni.
with.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've weaponized her name now. They're very Eleni.
Oh, it's just like he's kind of a
Yeah.
business D head. Maybe like that to a staff, or
Mostly
like,
it's
I don't
British people, actually.
Yeah.
To be real with you, it's mostly British people I know. They're like, oh, I can't stand him
I've
after
heard-
Gavin and Stacey.
That's what I always say because people get this reputation. I never judge anyone until I meet them. Because Monique had a really bad reputation with that. She was a diva, blah,
she's
blah.
so nice.
And exactly, the two
Yeah.
times I worked with her, she couldn't have been any nicer.
She's been nothing but
And she's
kind
been
to
here a
us.
bunch,
Oh
and
my
she's always
God,
been nice.
She's so kind to. In fact, I've hit her up before on like Instagram, and
Yeah.
she'll reply. Like
I don't
she's
even get. I don't get
very
the hate
nice.
on that one because I'm like, she just knows what she's worth.
That just
Yeah.
sounds like
Yeah,
that
and
just
she
sounds
sticks
like
up for
woman
herself,
hate
like-
to
Yeah.
me, black woman hate.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
black woman trying to know her worth. Let's stomp her down or something.
Yeah.
She could have been any nicer. James couldn't have been any nicer. I've been
Good.
lucky enough to not really work with anyone who I didn't really like. So like when I hear rumors about stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, but people forget that celebrities are humans. So
Yeah.
you might have just caught them on a bad day. We all get to have bad
Right.
days.
Or they could be like, if you're doing business with them, harsh in a way that they know, or
Yeah.
like what their value is, or like
Yeah.
they take no
They're
BS,
shrewd,
or they're
shrewd
shrewd business.
negotiators.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
whatever.
And then it has nothing to do with like
It's not personal.
yeah,
Yeah.
but people take it personal. All
Exactly.
around.
They're
Yeah.
wildly successful for a reason. They're doing something right. Monique's a multimillionaire for a reason.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
these people are successful for a reason, so they have to handle themselves accordingly. So don't take it personally.
Oh, I see
But
what
he
you
was
did there.
nice.
Accordingly.
So
So how did you get from LA to New York?
So we were somewhere in Ohio.
Toledo works.
Probably. I hate Toledo, by the way. If anyone, I hate it so
That's
much.
okay.
Yeah.
You'll find out real early,
Yeah.
like after you've been traveling so
Yeah.
much, the places you hate and the places you like.
So we were there. It was me, Artie Fuqua, and Godfrey. I don't know if you guys met Artie yet.
I don't think
I
we've
don't
met
think so,
Artie,
yeah.
but we know Godfrey.
Artie's great. He used to tour with Tracy Morgan, and he like hosts all the shows for us most of the time. He's not here this weekend because he's somewhere else. But yeah, it was the three of us on these tours. We've been touring for a while, so we're in Toledo, and we're just sitting in the green room, and Artie brought it up. Artie's like, "Oh, you're past at the Cellar, right?" He was talking to me. I'm like, "Oh no, I've never been there." He's like, "You've never been to the Comedy Cellar?" I'm like, "No, I've never been there." He's like, "Why?" I'm like, "I don't know, I've just never been there." And then Godfrey was like, "Oh, you're not past there?" I'm like, "No, I'm not past there." I'm like, "Okay, that's weird." I'm like, "Yeah, I guess." And then a few days later, I get a text from Artie, and he was like, "Yo, come out to New York, and I'll get you an audition at the Cellar." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So like 2 weeks go by, I go out to New York, and I ended up meeting Esty. Like they took me to meet her. I didn't know I was auditioning that night. I just thought I was gonna meet her, which was cool. If you don't know who Esty is, she's legendary. She's run the Comedy Cellar since like the 70s. She's been there for like 40 years.
Yeah, these
like,
clubs have these almost like like old like matriarch
it's like
gatekeepers.
Mitzi
Mid-
Shore.
yeah.
in LA, right?
Yeah,
Same
Mitzi's
thing.
in LA.
Yeah.
Esty's in New York, and like everyone's auditioning. Godfrey had to audition for her.
Sure.
Kevin Hart had to audition for her. All these people, and yeah. So I met her. She was very nice. She complimented my glasses, not these, the cute blue ones that I have.
I like those.
Yeah. And she was like, she's like, okay, you're up in 2, and I was like, oh, okay. So I went up after Ronnie Chang, and it was so crazy who was there that night because Judd Apatow and Sarah Silverman were both there.
Yes, I remember you commenting on this on
they
your
were
Facebook
both. They were
page.
both there, and we're sitting at the table, like the comics table, or whatever. We're sitting there, and I'm like wildly nervous for this set. I'm actually, in retrospect, I'm more nervous for this set than I was for my late night set.
Are you visibly nervous though, or like when you get nervous, are you like shaking?
I don't know if it was visible.
Or...
It was visible for people who knew me because I was quiet. I was very quiet.
Yeah.
But they didn't know me, so they didn't know. And it's so funny because Sarah Silverman was telling a story about how nervous she gets around performing in front of Esty. Because she was like, why is Esty still here? Because I guess Esty normally leaves at a certain time. She's like, why is Esty still here? Because she had just performed. She's like, I still get nervous when
It's
Esty
like
gets
flashbacks.
down.
Yeah, she had to do it.
Yeah, and then she starts telling her audition story. She's like, I was so nervous, blah blah blah. And then my buddy Ethan is there, who's passed at the Cellar, really funny dude. And Ethan's like, oh, it's Akeem's audition actually. And Sarah immediately was like, oh my, she was so nice. She's like,
I was
oh,
gonna ask you that.
yeah,
Was she kind?
She couldn't have been nice.
She comes off like a kind human being.
She was like, oh my God. She apologized to me. She's like, I'm so sorry. I'm over here telling horror stories.
Right.
You're about to audition. Do you want us to get up? And it was her and like Judd. And she's like, do you want us to get up and sit somewhere else? And I'm like, no. Why would I? Yeah, please get up from the table. No, of course
It'd be
not.
kind of cool to make Judd Apatow move.
Yeah,
you know?
and she was
pretty
like,
neat.
yeah, she was like, do you want to? She's like, do you want to get up and move? I'm like, no, it's fine, I'm gonna be fine. And then I went downstairs. I had a really, really good set.
But I love how confident you are naturally. I mean, like you're telling me you are nervous, but even right now, and you relaying the story, I don't see it at all. It's almost like you're meant to do this. Man.
I was wildly nervous, and I go on. I have a good set. I have a really good set. She comes up to me afterwards. She's like, oh, she told me good set, and she's like, she's a lady of very few words, but she gave me our information. So she's like, oh, she's like, send me your email, blah 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 blah. So I got passed, and then Sarah Silverman bought me French fries. She was
Hell
like,
yeah.
which I mean,
my God.
$4, but who
Super
cares?
famous Jewish French fries from Sarah
Yeah,
Silverman.
and she and she complimented me, and she was like, she couldn't have been any nicer. She was, and I've always been like a huge fan of her as
Me
well.
too.
And I to this day I regret not getting a picture because I didn't want to be that dude who's like, can I get a? And then I told my friend the
You'll
story.
probably have another time.
Exactly, but I told my friend, and he's like good friends with Sarah, and he's like, oh no, Sarah would have like loved to take a picture with, like she would have been so happy that you asked. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that, but I didn't. I wish I would have taken a picture, like just because that night was so
It means something
important.
to you.
But I didn't want to be like, can I get a picture?
Yeah, because
So-
I feel like I would feel that somehow would knock me down a peg to a level now
Yeah.
where she views me
Especially
as
if
every,
she bought me
as
French
every other
fries, no
Yeah.
picture. If she gives you French fries, no picture.
Like,
I feel like
you
Yeah.
want a
I'm
famous.
serious. I'm trying to do this math in my crazy
Yeah.
brain, and I'm like, if she walks over, like, oh, I got his fries, you know,
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, no,
'Cause-
damn it, no picture now.
Yeah.
I feel like all celebrities naturally have a category they put people in, whether if you're a coworker of theirs or like
Right.
on their same
And
level,
he's working
or
his way up to contemporary level, which is,
or like a fan, right? I feel like they somehow will knock you down to a fan category if you ask for
I
a
get what
picture.
you're. I don't.
But
I get what you're
think that
saying,
works
but I
like
don't
that.
think that's how
Yeah,
a lot of them think. And after I talked to a few people who know her well, they're like, "Oh no, she would have been more than happy to take a picture because it's such a monumental moment." That was a monumental. She understood what
she's
getting
done
past
it.
at that.
She understands
means.
her own fame.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And like
Yeah.
she like,
But she's also done what he's having.
Yeah.
She's gone through exactly what Akeem was doing.
Yeah.
You know? It's also like a good blessing. You almost had like a little bit of mom figure there to be
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I've been through this. Do you want
Yeah.
us to leave? Maybe
Yeah.
that even helps.
She was. Yeah, it could have. It was. But
good
I
energy.
can't. It was like one of my most memorable nights in comedy. So
That's
I'm
awesome,
never
man.
gonna forget it. So even if I don't have the fact that I don't have the picture isn't a big deal because I still remember that moment so well.
Yeah.
But it still would have been a little cool to be like, here's this picture.
I'd have probably saved one of those fries. Just
Yeah.
one.
Put
Just
it in a
one.
baggie.
Put it in something. A
Yeah.
Ziploc, resin.
let's talk about the single person gatekeeper method with like a Mitzi or Etsy or like
Yeah.
I think Lauren Michaels is like this too, where it's like it all has to go through him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and it's always weird because I'm like, it's weird that they don't acknowledge that like maybe they're. Like, what are they looking for? I wonder if they're looking for just a general performance and how they like comfortable you are, instead of like they can't be just looking at what's funny or not, because
No,
that's all
'cause that
subjective.
changes, too.
And if you're like an older person, you may not understand
I think
a younger
they
person.
just. I think from her, I'll speak to her. She just. There's some people who just know comedy, and not only do they know comedy, they know what works in their room.
Yeah.
So the seller's been around for so many years. She knows what works for her clientele. So I think she gets it. So she knows what
vibe
works
and- yeah,
exactly.
okay.
And I think she can just probably watch somebody's set and be like, this is gonna do well in my room or this isn't. And
I wonder who, like, because you never heard, like, same thing with, like, the Comedy Store and Mitzi, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you never hear stories of them, like, a famous person be like, oh, they wouldn't let me perform or turn me down as much as you hear, like, I had.
I'm sure it's
you know what I'm saying?
happened.
But you don't really hear where, like, a famous comedian says, oh, this person.
Have you ever heard of that with
said I wasn't funny?
Yeah. I think
We're not trying to bag on people that don't get denied.
I think Kevin talked about it in his book. He talked about how he never got at a big club in New York. It was called like Rising Star or something like that.
Yeah, I've heard.
Well,
that.
it was some big club in New York that never passed him. Or that said, oh no, you're never gonna make it. Usually, the Kevin talked about it or Chappelle talked about it.
Sure.
But one of them talked about like auditioning in front of this big club at the time, and I don't remember the name of the club. and them passing on them, and then them going on to become Kevin Hart or Dave Chappelle or Eddie Murphy. So I'm sure it happens all the time.
What is the biggest comedian? Because I follow your Facebook. I urge everybody to also follow your Facebook. Also, go see him headline the
Thursday,
Improv.
Improv, June 2nd, Orlando Improv. Also, if you're in Naples for whatever reason, I'm at Off the Hook Comedy Club tomorrow.
We got people in Naples.
Yeah, go to Off the Hook Comedy Club. All tickets are available at akeemwoods.com, AKEEM woods.com.
There you go.
So,
that's where you get tickets.
Akeem, what career-wise, like what's the next step? Is it just because it seems like you're doing it exactly right, and the fact that you're meeting the right people, you're hanging out with the right people, like people are getting to see your face and know you, and like celebrities, like that, someone may suggest you for something, and that's like the next step. Like this is basically just hanging out with the right people, making the right choices. Like business wise, what's the next step?
I wanna do a half hour this year on either Netflix or Comedy Central or HBO, some type of big streaming platform. I want to do. I would ideally like to do a half hour. But I know some networks like Netflix are doing like 15 minutes. Again, I'm not sure. So my management's currently like submitting me to that stuff. Hopefully I get Just for Laughs. I auditioned. We don't find out till July. But I had a really good audition, so I'm hoping I get that.
Nice.
Just for Laughs is like one of the biggest comedy.
Yeah.
For people who are listening, Just for Laughs is like the Super Bowl of comedy festivals. So I auditioned for that. Hopefully I get that. And then I would like to have a touring agent, because right now I'm still booking all my own tours, which I'm really good at, but I would rather someone else do it because I'm kind of tired of it.
Can your management company, like that's
what
something you ask them?
That's what they're trying to get. They're trying to get me a booking agent right now. So I would like to get a booking agent. I would like to get something on Netflix.
Nice.
I'm actually working on I'm writing like a pilot. I don't want to give out too much information about it, but I'll tell you guys off air. But I'm writing a pilot right now. I had a meeting with this I had a really important meeting that went really well, so I'm working on something in that field as well.
I love it.
So
always working, man.
Do you wear a suit to your meetings?
Never.
Oh, okay.
You would never
see
yeah.
more muscly now.
I know.
I am muscular now.
Yeah, both you guys are.
You are a beefcake.
Yeah, you are a beefcake.
When you left Florida,
look,
you were
man, I'm not gay, but I love the
Akeem.
way you look. I think you look hot as hell. I love beefy Akeem.
Because I started working out.
You look good, dude.
Thank you. You guys know who Yamanika is.
Yes.
Yeah, she's one of my dear friends. I love her to death. We both see the same personal trainer.
I never thought I'd ever see the day that you go to a that's straight up insane.
Yeah,
in New York.
In New York, and she's like
they bust your ass, huh?
Oh, she's amazing. And
she's a personal trainer to the stars.
Yeah, she's a personal trainer for a lot of people. She's amazing. So
How much does that cost?
Anyway, so she's a great.
Yeah, that kind of money.
Like 100 a session, 100
more than that.
More.
Listen, the point is she's a great trainer. And I see her twice a week, and then I do a lot of running and cardio. I've lost a bunch of weight and gained muscle and blah, 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 blah.
Nice.
Listen, guys, I look amazing. If you're gay, slide in my DMs. And if you're not gay, slide anywhere.
You're looking for a lot of, you don't have a dude now. You don't
no. I'm still not here being a hoe. I'm on the apps, but
that's fine.
I'm traveling a lot.
How's New York right now with the pandemic and everything?
Everything's back. I can't say if it's back to normal because I've never lived there prior. But according to what people are telling me, everything seems to be back to normal.
Gotcha. So it's not as crazy lockdown.
No, everyone's back out. The subways are back, like full, more or less. Most people are still wearing masks on the subway, which is good, and they're still. But like all the clubs are still open. Like all the clubs are back doing shows. It's back to
what it was.
To what it was.
I don't think I can go back.
What?
Like with the mask thing.
Oh yeah, it's a hard.
I usually just keep it on my wrist.
Oh no,
and then I just kind of naturally forget, no matter where I'm at. Even if I'm in a position where I'm supposed to wear, my wife will have to elbow me like an old man. I mean,
there's no mandate. You don't have to wear them on the subways. Just people do. I wear them on the subway because the subway's just gross.
Right.
In general.
Keep the smell out of your nose.
It turned into what Asia's been doing for a long time, which is like, I'm packed in here. I don't want to breathe in people's stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll wear a mask. Or I'm like, I feel a little cold, so I'll wear a mask to protect other people.
Yeah, but New York is back to normal, more or less. Yeah, I couldn't be happier there. I'm in Washington Heights. A bunch of fine Dominican dudes.
Way better than LA, then.
It's not even close. It's I feel at home in New York, and I never felt at home in LA. I always felt like I was just in LA.
Yeah, and I've never been to the city. I've only been to upstate New York, so I got to go to the city.
It's I love it, man.
Well,
couldn't be happier.
I've never been to New York City. I've been to big cities before, and I've been to L.A.
I've been to Chicago. I've
Neither
been to
one of
LA.
you have been to New York.
I've never been to the city.
I've never been. To
I've
the
been-
city.
What are you
yeah.
guys doing?
I know.
Philly.
Sam, you've been to New York?
Never
I
been.
mean, you would think I've been to
Oh.
LA like
Let's do a go-to show.
5, 6
Yes.
times.
Let's go
I-
visit Akeem.
I mean,
Go
it's East
visit
Coast.
Akeem.
I mean,
But
East is the beast.
and
We
I
should
don't
go to New York.
I don't know this because I've only been to LA for small amounts of time, but it doesn't feel like it has any
Culture.
culture
Yeah.
or
LA? It
Yeah.
doesn't.
yeah, it's just a void of just a bunch of people that migrated there to try
And
to
be famous.
Yeah.
be
LA is
famous
just a
or-
bunch of fake Instagram people trying to be famous.
Yeah, okay.
It feels like that.
That's how I
Yeah.
felt anyway. Is there a live stream?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, what are they
we're-
saying?
Yeah, they're saying they love you.
Okay, good.
I mean,
They love you and New York.
Let's see. Yeah, I love New York. Thank you. Let's see what else we got here. They're talking about your trainer, and they think you're funny. And then they're talking about. We got a link to buy tickets. We got a link to AkeemWoods.com.
Oh, you guys
That's
are the
good
best.
stuff in there.
Okay,
Has
good,
rent
good.
in New York like
We're more expensive than them now, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
stabilized?
We're
Well,
the most
because a lot of
expensive
people,
state.
Who is?
left New York.
Florida.
Florida's more
We
expensive
just,
than New York?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just surpassed everybody
We
like
just-
last month.
We are
Really?
Yeah.
We're the most expensive state.
To live in, yeah.
Everybody just is
Oh.
running here because you can work off the internet and we're close to the beach and it's
Yeah.
not hot, it's not cold.
Yeah, as
You
soon as
know what I'm
they-
saying?
And no state tax.
Weather,
I have a
Oh,
feeling.
yeah, the
Weather
state
and
tax
tax.
is very low.
As soon as they shut down that, you can't, you know, as soon as bosses are like, you can't work anywhere, and then they'd all go back to normal.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to shake out.
I don't think, dude. I don't think it's going back, man.
I've seen some people that are getting fired over it.
yeah,
People are moving away and getting new jobs because they want to work from
That's
home.
fine,
And their
but I'm
bosses
just-
won't let them. Yeah, their bosses are making them go back.
yeah. But a lot
They're
of
leaving.
a lot of businesses are like, screw this. I'm saving money by having
Right.
my employees work from home. I don't know. And some will go back, but seeming like we've past a point of no return.
Akeem, it's always a pleasure seeing you. We love you.
Thank you. It's
Your
always a
friend
pleasure
Bless
being
came
here.
in today. I'll put him on camera too, and didn't say a word because we didn't steer the anything over there.
I
But
looked over a
always
couple times.
feel
He was
bad.
chilling.
I always feel bad when you don't include people. I want to include everybody. You know,
yeah.
like.
Yeah.
I just don't want it to be awkward, so I will mention that, yes, we had another person here before people will at me, and they'll be like, why didn't you let that guy talk? It's like, look, I didn't lay down any rules. There are no rules here.
Yeah.
Everybody can talk.
Yeah, look like he was chilling. He
Yeah,
like
he's
didn't want
fine.
to. I don't want to, make him feel uncomfortable.
Exactly.
I'm not nervous or anything, but Akeem is. I've known Akeem for a really long time, so I'm just enjoying his growth and his development. So
We went to high school together.
What a nice,
Oh, really?
supportive
High
friend, too.
school. Yeah.
Where'd you go to high school again?
Unfortunately, Palm Bay, Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, Palm Bay.
Yeah, oh, man.
Just as fun as it sounds, guys.
And we do have to get out of here. Go to AkeemWoods.com for all of your tickets. Go see him Thursday night. Pack it and sell it all the way out. And we'll be back with more A Corporate Time.
Woo!